a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. bad. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house.
Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the South Asia Elite Community Series here at Frag Nation in partnership with Ubisoft for Rainbow Six Siege X. I'm your host, Blackjack, with the lagging camera once again, along with Madness, back for Day 2 and Semifinal 2 of Qualifier 2. Lots of twos right there. Somebody do a root equation on that. I'm pretty sure that'll be fun. But with that said, Madness, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. Yesterday's matches were pretty nice. Semifinal, it was pretty much one-sided in kind of RUE's favor. QG Esports definitely going to take that as a learning lesson heading into the playoffs. But hey, it's a new day of Siege. I can't wait to see what these teams have in store for us and who will actually end up facing RUE on Sunday.
Absolutely. The RU is definitely going to be watching this stream. I'll tell you that much, folks, because of course you want to know what your opponents are up to. But with that said, of course, there's a little bit more to talk about before we get into the grand semifinal here, so as to speak. And that, of course, is going to start off with the prize pool that we have seen a couple times already. But let's go over it anyway. As we have the transition coming across your screens here, the prize pool is 3 lakh INR. Quite a lot of money, especially for first place. That's one entire lakh. 60,000 for second place, 40,000 for third, 30,000 for fourth, and of course, fifth, sixth get 25,000 INR, and seventh and eighth get 10. So,
Mhm.
given the fact that 4 teams from both qualifiers, i.e., 8 teams, have already qualified into the playoffs, they're all getting a minimum of 10,000, depending on how the
Yep.
playoffs go, right? That's kind of your base assumption. But only one team can get the 1 lakh, and only 2 teams can get something that is arguably even greater than that prize pool. But of course, I'll let Madness discuss that.
Yeah, the prize pool is kind of crazy. Whoever makes it in playoffs does get money, like you're saying, 10K. But there's significant jumps in payouts each step of the way that you win a tournament. And the whole point of these rounds and getting is this tournament format right here. We had qualifier 1, 7th September to 14th of September, 4 teams from that. Qualifier 2, we're in the midst of it. We are in the penultimate day, September 4th, where it's the semifinal 2 going on. The top 4 teams from each of them will go to the playoffs, 6th to 19th. So exactly after that's going to happen. And then the top 2 teams qualify for the APAC Cup Asia qualifiers. That's one of the
Oh,
main prizes
yes.
alongside that 1 lakh and the 60K that someone's going to be taking home. And then just looking at the brackets, and for yesterday we saw RUE dominate, take that 2-0 against QEZ Sports. Then talking about the 2 teams in front of you, AndroMeda Gaming versus Dead Eye Esports. Both have done clean sweeps in their own quarterfinals to make it to this stage of the competition over here, Blackjack.
Oh, yes. And now, of course, we are going to be going into tonight's game, Andromeda Gaming versus Deadeye Esports. And this is semifinal 2, folks. We hope you are ready, because we certainly are, as we look at the teams for both sides. Of course, looking at the overall rosters, it's certainly an interesting time to be in either of these teams. For Deadeye, of course, for those who are aware or have seen the recent Siege tournaments we've had in the region, we have Kratos, Moose, Itzrux, Nex, and Ninja Freak. But from AMG, now this is the team that I really wanted to talk about, Shaitan, Mayank, I'm assuming because there's a 7 in that name, the Sid, Sasaki, and Dragneel. All right, that took me by surprise. Let's have a look at the maps, folks, that these 2 teams have selected, as this is, of course, a BO3, which means 3 maps are in play, and these are 3 pretty interesting maps, all things considered. It is Bank to start us off from D3, AMG bringing us to Night Haven Labs, and the decider being a Chalet. I'll tell you what, Bank and Night Haven, they've got me excited.
That's actually interesting. These are the 2 picks that are not just the deciders; they're the actual main picks of these teams. So Nighthand Labs, kind of excited for it. Don't love the map that much. Bank, on the other hand, is one of my all-time favorites to play around. There's so many plays you can make. It's such a fun map. Just ripple outside the building and kill people. Don't even have to enter. With that being said, we will be entering map number 1, which will be that prestigious National Bank in front of you. But it's going to be interesting to see what kind of strategies they go for. Mira, very favorite operator on this map, so it depends if it gets banned out. Yesterday we didn't get to see many beer bans on Clubhouse either, so that was an interesting take. These teams prefer something else, a more aggressive style. The Mira's okay, they're like, yeah, we've dealt with that, that's not the problem, we banned something else. Mostly shields and electric were getting banned out, Blackjack.
Yeah, that was what was happening yesterday, right? Mira got a lot of play on the map of Chalet, which was surprising to me as well. But at the same time, it's like, I kind of get it, it is what it is. But as it stands, here and now, folks, we're getting into the first bans of the night with between D3 and AMG, and it's going to be Fenrir and Hibana to start us off. Now, on the map of Bank, actually, banning Hibana makes a lot of sense. Bank is a map with a lot of hatches, especially when you're in the bottom floor site, right? That is why getting Hibana out of the way means you're forcing them to pick Ace, if Ace is unbanned, of course, or you're forcing them to play secondary Heartbeat charges, which means the operator is essentially taken out of the fight because you have to actually go there with the gadget, place it down. Hibana doesn't. She can remotely breach hatches, which makes her so very good at that. And of course, because she can choose how many pellets per hatch goes onto it, she can effectively break all 4 hatches at once. Not someone you want to have to deal with, especially given the fact that AMG are going basement lockers and CCTV to start us off. The second bans that have happened, of course, are Blitz and Mira, to be expected. Nobody wants to deal with Blitz these days, and I feel like there's a very good reason as to why. Mira, of course, we've talked about this a million times before, very standard ban. Same with the Fenrir. With that said, let's get into it.
It's going to be interesting. We still have the card open. That's why we've gone basement. We're going to lock that up for some. Without the Hibana, you need at least 2 ace charges per hatch to open them up. That's going to be interesting how they deal. Might even switch to the Thermite to get at least both hatches open properly for themselves, or depending on how they want to play it around. Even a Maverick at this point. If you get the space upside, it could be nice for you. But that being said, we have Malusis, Capcans, and Goyos. A lot of traps, a lot of delay available, especially with, you know, everything in front of you, especially smoke grenades as well, right? So smoke can hold you off for quite a bit. You have to be careful about all of these things heading in. And we've got a buck, okay, right? So we want to play. But on that side, we have the Dogobi pretty familiar, and then we have the Brava. So the Brava is going to be interesting about what it steals, what it turns around over here. It can be one way to deal with the guides as well. So let's just see how they end up playing this.
I like that potential Brava pick from Ninja Freak right there, because like you mentioned, right, there's a lot of things here for the defenders that can be taken over by the 2 Brava drones. Now, of course, Brava can only hack 6 gadgets per round, right? Because there's 2 drones get 3 gadgets, a la 6 gadgets. So one thing I would say that I think Ninja Freak might focus on are actually the Kaid Electroclaws, because you don't take them over, you essentially destroy them by overheating them when you take them over, especially seeing that you only have 2 secondary EMPs on that recruit, or striker as they're now called. So you want to make sure that you use them properly, you make sure that you're able to get full value out of them, and that's why at least 1 Electroclaw should be targeted by Ninja Freak right there. And of course, you've got the Capcan traps, but more importantly, you've got the Malusi Banshees. Oh dear me! Goyo caught having a stroll by Skylight. He's gonna get taken down, and Sasaki will be the first casualty of the round.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the play was there. He was like caught with his pants down over there. He was just not aware whatsoever. He did try to fire back. Moose took quite a bit of damage, but in the end, you get the kill, you get the man advantage for yourself. You set up pretty nicely. You've got the roamer, you've got all the space that you actually got. Now you have to start thinking about how to make yourself into that side. You're going to get default cams, it's already been shot, and now we're going to try and open it up over here. We have the hard breach charges from that striker set, be it, and now the hatches will be opened up. There's one still guy, and I'm not quite sure the EMP hit it over there because I don't see it breaching as of yet. Yes, now the breach comes in. We're opening up the elevator, so a lot of angles opening up. We're still worried about garage if we're AMG, and that's what exactly Mike is looking at from that angle. He's holding from both, actually. He's waiting for the drop. Nothing as of yet. They still have to make the place in. Now's the kind of the timing you want to strike. You're burning the Goyo so they'll burn later on. That's very smart move going in. You see someone who's already trying to go in this way. You're taking server room for yourself. Next, trying to get anything that he can grasp from the all the ace are just finally used to open up the wall. The plant, and then 1 minute left on the clock. Let's see what is available to them. Trying from behind the chest. You're going to fire away. It's not going to connect onto anything that he was hoping for as well. And we still have the Malusi just camping out in garage. Now the wall's open. Now you're trying to go for the plant. We have smokes to actually delay this, and that's what you should be looking at. The Zofia charges. That significantly prevents anything if I actually happen. The plant should go down. He's burning, but he does get the plant away. He gets away with the light. Doesn't even end up touching the blow from before, actually. C4 coming in to let plant down in a 5 versus 2 versus 4 retake, and you have people above that you have to be careful of. The angle is not that you've taken quite a bit of damage. You've actually been knocked down if you're the kind of the Kratos looking for more. Could not connect Shaitan against the return frag. 1 versus 3. I don't think it's possible. 23 seconds left for him to actually make a move. We still have someone roaming above as well. So if he goes down, he can be shot from above as well. So many angles for him to look at. He's trying to make an attempt, but it might just be too late at this point. Yeah, maybe just save the KD, I would suggest, because you're not getting the TV's done no matter what. You're trying to look for a kill. The guy above you will get it. That's what I'm talking about, the re-rotation upside. Well played going in round number 1.
Deadeye Esports getting a good round 1 off, as is to be expected, as they had what was, I would say, a pretty standard clear when it comes to basement lockers and CCTV, right? You normally get to see that the hatch being open, the roam clear, everything kind of just went their way. I will say Sasaki going out and kind of just being there on Skylight was probably one of the big issues in the round. Goyo is very good at being a bit of a rascal, right? Just playing off angles, lurking around the site, or even going for a deep roam, because Goyo's gadget utility is really passive, right? Much like Jaeger, you put down his canisters and you don't really think about it until it's time to pop them. So it's not fully automatic, but it's passive enough to where Goyo himself doesn't need to be present. So I understand the pick of the Goyo. And again, like we saw in the last round, there's always a very good chance that you make that one delay play that could really save the round. However, you also need that operator alive to do that. And with a Vector in hand, you really should be alive more often than not. With that said, you know, mistakes from AMG were made, but it's only round 1, so there's a pass given because you're trying to learn your opponent, you're trying to download them. And that, of course, will contribute to how the next round goes, and the next round after that, and so on and so forth. Looking at D3, given the fact that it was a standard pick and standard clear, I have nothing particularly to say about that. I do like the fact that Ninja Freak is bringing Grim this time around in place of the Brava. I think he actually brought Grim last round. No, it was still the Brava, so he switched out into Grim, realizing that, you know, we didn't really need Brava per se, so instead they've gotten 4 secondary MPs in that place.
Yeah, we didn't see much Brava usage, honestly, from Ninja Freak. Even recognizes it's going to bring in the Grim, could have got some nuisance, but in the meantime, Next gets the first kill. It's Rooks gets the second joint effort going down over here. You're going to get 2 early frags if you're an easier, and you're going to be very happy about it. Kratos is roaming around. 2F has been conquered, and still 2 minutes left of gameplay over here. So Hatch is going down an earlier rate. They're just accelerating from what they played last round, honestly. And those 2 for early frags onto Shaitan and Sasaki is going to be detrimental to the side of AMG. They cannot honestly think of much. You have evil, you have, you know, the Maestro camps, depending on how you want to use. You still have smokes, you have the kites opened up, but you have to be careful. You don't have any roamers. You're pretty much just going to put yourself into turtle formation. You're gonna bunker down there in the basement and hope for the best, honestly.
Yeah, it's just gonna have to be a case of staying alive, because at the end of the day, you can still make a 3v5 work, but given the fact that it's the mid round and you're slowly losing space bit by bit as the attackers take over, that is going to be the main point of contention here, especially this Twitch sitting here in server right now. I'll be joined by the Ace. Moose is here, and you've got the Maestro Evil Eyes to potentially do plan denial. Not sure what the idea was from my end, going for a peek on an area of the map that, well, let's just say multiple people were already aimed towards. Ace is going to get the full breach done towards the default plant site. So it's all just a case of getting rid of that Maestro Evil Eye and going for it. Zofia could do it from the hatch, or Twitch does have a donation, so she could go and take care of it as well. There's a million ways to Sunday to take care of that Evil Eye. Meanwhile, Kaid is going to be tracked by the bees of the Grim, forcing him out of Red Hallway, and this is where, again, Grim can be so oppressive. These bees are stopping both Kaid and Smoke from being able to actually aggress, because it's giving away their positions constantly. Second after valuable second is being wasted. C4s are thrown, it's not going to work. Smoke goes out, but the plant is done, and Kratos will get 2 back-to-back. The Striker coming down the hatch gets the final 2 of the round, and a flawless at that, and even better execute from D3 than they did in round 1.
Honestly, that's what I was talking about halfway through the round. A flawless round coming out from D3 over here. Execution to perfection. Those two early kills definitely going to help out their case, and they're just one by one whittling away down on their opponents. The Smoke thought that they can delay the plan with that, but no, it's not. And like you were talking about, the Grim causing such a nuisance, much more impact than the Bravo was bringing out. And this is definitely a good change in. And they were anyway winning, but they're still trying to adapt to a way they can win at a faster rate, it seems like at this point. Mozzie drone's going to be being brought out over here. Let's see if they can get anything. Mayang switch over to the Echo. So let's see if he can come up to more impacts of the peak at the end on top of the chassis where the Ace got the kill. That was not the peak to be had.
Device positioned. Shield deployed.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, right, where AMG kind of has to learn from these mistakes. Like, it's just a moment of like, okay, we did that, didn't work, let's change it up. And they are changing it up. Credit where it's where it's due. Now we're going to second floor, which is of course the other kind of most picked site when it comes to bank. And I do like the usage of the half reinforced wall there, facing skylight door with the Aruni Surya gate to kind of just hammer it all in. Echo's being brought in by Mayank, so a little bit more anchorage happening because Echo, of course, 3 armor, throwing the drone, very good at plant denial. But again, you have to stay alive to be able to use it. And that's been AMG's problem in these first 3 rounds. They've lost bodies very quickly, especially Dragoneel and Sasaki. Both of them decided to go for very early plays last round on the roam, on the peaks. Ooh. They got taken out. This time again, look at the droning happening right now from this team, from D3. And there you go. Next is going to be the one to clean up on Dragoneel. Or Dragoneel, sorry, I keep saying Dragoneel. Those letters really just say dragon if you squinted them a little bit. But next is going to get taken out. That's a trade and a very important one. And that, Shaitan firing back.
Gets a nice pick. Next with a long angle kill over there. Dragon did not see that coming. And he gets put down. And like you're saying, the trade comes in, near base, but oh, Kratos gets spotted out, rappelling outside the window. Excellent shots coming in from Mayank. With this Echo, he still has complete vision, knows when the peak's going to happen again. On the other side, Shaitan gets another kill, and the same Kratos, the guy who was injured earlier on, had taken quite a bit of a damage for himself. So this is going to equalize, actually get the numbers advantage for the side of AMG. We're opening up, we're prepping up barricades if you want to go for the run, and that's exactly what he's gone for over here. But on the other side, Instructus is rappelling us to the window. No one's trying to shoot him or trying to run out of any sort of variety. The Monty just being a nuisance, being pretty much like a living drone, can just walk up, take as much space as he does require. The Echo drone's going to come out. Monty's going to spot that. Maybe tries to break it down, doesn't. You can hear the breach coming in now, finally, from the side of Moose. So they're going to open up the wall. Now they're going to try and walk in behind Ninja Freak. He's got the diffuser anyway. They're looking for this place. Zofia's going to try and get another angle. She's going for her own kind of rotation. She's taking quite a bit of time. You have 1 minute to play with, but if you're going to delay this much, it might be harmful later on. In the meantime, Moose actually picks up a kill on the Sid, and at the same time, Sasaki gets the trade. So still that man advantage remains for AMG. Now Monty's trying to pick up the pace. He knows where one is from the sound. He even spots out the Arumi, who actually ended up picking him. It's a 2 versus 2. Maybe that a 1 versus 3. Shaitan picks up the kill onto its Rux, and that's his 3rd kill of the round. He's looking for the Quadra, honestly, the way this man is moving. They spotted him out. He's on a camera. There's not much the Monty can honestly do. 30 seconds left. I don't think the Quadra is going to come, and it doesn't. Ninja Freak actually ends up trading over there. He gets 1, but ends up getting put down. That's what you expect in a 2 versus 1 in the corridor. You're not going to end up winning that. And finally, AMG actually end up picking up a round, and it's a huge part to what the Bandit did in it.
Yeah, no, Shaitan's presence in the map was absolutely what gave the team that round right there. That was absolutely required from AMG's side because, again, you need these kills, you need these rounds to go your way. You give a team like D3 too much momentum, or enough momentum, as they would probably say, and they will absolutely run away with the game, folks. That is what we've seen before, and that is what they'll try to do. Again, it's also predicated on, of course, what the D3 roster is. Players like Rux, Ninja Freak, Nex, we've seen them before over the years, and they are certainly very, very good at gathering and holding momentum. With that said, we have the final bans for the first half. It's Goyo and Grim. Understandably so on the Grim. I mean, we saw just how oppressive that operator is here on the basement. And of course, on the other side, the Goyo, it does kind of make sense, even though I would personally maybe have gone for Maestro because, Maestro is probably better on the post plant, but that's just me. Goyo, on the other hand, of course, those canisters and the flame and the delay that the flame can cause, really, really annoying to deal with, especially if you're in a rush to get the plant down. There's 10 seconds remaining, and guess what? You need to run through the fire and the flames, and because you're running, you can't aim, and someone's going to shoot you dead. So that's why the Goyo has been banned. With that said, the site once again is basement. Maybe third time's the charm for the side of D3. Well, I say AMG, excuse me. And we will find out right now.
Games annoyed them so much, they chose to ban that out. Yeah, the Grim usage was coming in very good, especially in that 2 versus 2 scenario where the side of AMG could honestly do nothing. They were spotted throughout the entire time. We've gone back yet again to the basement. Let's see if the roams come up. Last time we only saw, honestly, the Kapkan try and make an effort. Other than that, nothing else. Once he gets caught out, the round is pretty much over, right? Because everyone's just bunkered up. We got 2 early picks. Let's see what kind of machine go. Default cameras being shot down. Under skylight over here. Kratos looking to walk in. Nothing much of a ride. 2 minutes left to honestly do with 50. We're burning the canisters earlier on, so not much of a nuisance later. Kratos trying to walk up. Gets clear vision of everything that he's looking for. Everybody on the side of AMG is not even trying to contest 2F. They're just content fighting for just 1F control.
1F control is very required right now, given the fact that second floor has pretty much been given away. Though I will say for AMG, that's probably better than, you know, actually trying to contest it. They did do that a couple of rounds ago, and we saw what happened to them, right? So save those bodies. That's what's important. Drone that just came out of Teller's room, I don't know, or Archive's room, excuse me. I don't know if it saw the defender that's been sitting there for a really long time now. And there you go. That's exactly what I was pointing out. They didn't see where Dragneel was, and that is why Nex will bite the dust very early on. That the droning is lacking in that regard, and unfortunately, Nex is going to feel the effect of that. Shots fired down the hallway of office right now. Of course, that's where the mid stairs is, and they're going to try and go for a breach. There's no Kaid in play, so no need for EMPs at the moment. Moves will fall because Dragneel is still on the prowl, getting a second one.
He does get a second one over here. It's a 5 versus 3. MG in the driver's seat, but D3 are fighting back. Dragneel ends up going down. His roam has played his part. His cams are always going to be there, so I think Dragneel did amazingly in this round compared to the previous one because he ended up going down earlier on in those 2 rounds. But here, it's a nice opening frag, gets the numbers advantage for his team. Now, the side of D3 are scrambling, honestly, to think about what to do. They've wasted a lot of time. There's 35 seconds left on the clock. They have to, pretty much guess or play whack-a-mole which has to jump down from where they can cause impact. I'm assuming Kratos is going to jump straight into Vault over, then cause some kind of nuisance. But this fight will be everything to decide. The Capitol smoke comes in, so honestly, Saki knows where Capitol is playing. No one is. Ninja Freak's lining everything up. It's not actually catches on to Shaitan, but as soon as he chops down, everything gets shattered. AMG takes everybody to the grave. That's what I'm talking about. You play whack-a-mole with which has to get down from. If you guess wrong, you're just pretty much slaughter meat at that point.
And yeah, that's pretty much what happened, right? They lost too many bodies too quickly, and unfortunately, they paid the price for it. They just didn't have the setup needed. And they're really feeling that grim ban as well, I'll tell you that much. But now it's a 2-2 as the scores have been equalized early on. Staff room and open area is going to be the side of choice going into round number 5. And we're seeing a Frost being brought in alongside the Azami and the castle. So a little bit of site reconstruction here. Aruni is going to help kind of delay and absorb utility. And of course, Kapkan, the ever-present, the ever-nuisance, Russian operator right there. Now, all things considered, the defensive picks have been really, really good. But what has helped them are those solo plays that have happened over the course of the last couple of rounds. Shaitan in round number 3, with, of course, that bandit play on the first floor, just never getting aggressed upon, never getting droned out. And in the last round, we saw a little bit of droning happening from D3, but not enough, because they didn't find the Valkyrie in time, and Dragneel absolutely punished them for it. You gotta be thorough when you're droning. You can't afford to skip corners just because you might be low on time. That is where time management is super important. And it looks like D3 are certainly feeling the pressure, because not only have they brought out the Deimos for a little bit of roam hunting, which, I feel like should have done in the last round, but also they've brought out the Blackbeard.
Blackbeard's gonna be a nuisance. Most teams, once they see, they try to bend it up, but that prime's gone. Next, actually, gets the first pickup onto mine. That's gonna be the Azami down out of the round. A very early pickup over here with 2 minutes 30 seconds were on the clock. They're gonna be watching over. The deployment also goes down to the ram charge that's happening on that side. They're trying to open up hatches. They seem to be having a merry time, but the Blackbeard's gonna take everything, all the space. Moose is walking up. He still has to, target. He has the castle of the Rumi as of yet. Ooh, Sid tries to catch out of the Blackbeard, just barely missing out now. Dealing with a shield in his face, gets knocked away, gets put out of his misery. Xrux causing a ruckus on the Blackbeard right now, already going up to Sid. Sid, if he had actually got those percentage shots, this could be a different round. Honestly playing out right now, but unfortunately for him, no, Blackbeard gets the better of it. The ramp, verticality, all being opened up. You have from the basement Sasaki playing, but he's not going to find honestly any targets, and now all 3 targets available for the Demos to actually hunt, and he has around 3 more charges to use. You can just use it one by one, and then you can go down and take your fights the way you want to. But again, AMG find themselves with a man disadvantage in them, just pretty much bunkered inside. But Sasaki's actually on the roam and he's getting targeted, so they know there is somebody in the basement. He's coming to hunt him. The Demos is walking down. Sasaki unfortunately could not burst the canister. He actually did get the flame away. He's looking, but this is just pretty much a 1v1v1, depending on how the Demos gonna think better. Maybe try and back away. Pre-fire is coming in from the Capcan, not gonna connect onto anybody. And no, this time Sasaki actually gets better moves. He's dealing with the Blackbeard as well. Gets bolt. He is going huge in this round. This, if AMG wins this round, it's Sasaki all the way, depending on how this turns out. But next, low on HP, it's a 3 versus 3. Ram is still opening up from above, looking for potential targets to go for. And next actually connects with the head of Dragneel. Okay, so that's 1 more member down from the side of AMG. Shaitan and Sasaki to deal with. But the way Sasaki has been doing it, I think this man possibly has it. And Shaitan has the long range with the Rumi DMR, depending on how you want to use it. 30 seconds left. They're trying to walk in, but nope. We get the shot in. He does. It's a silencer as well. It looked very fancy the way he shot Kratos down, equalizing numbers. Smoke's getting popped. 17 seconds left. You're trying to walk into the Blackbeard you have to deal with, but you actually end up. Next goes down. Shaitan with a double. Ninja Freak blindly firing, not connecting, picks up the diffuser. He has 1 person above him. Has to be careful, but Shaitan doesn't even need help. He puts Ninja Freak out of his misery with a triple kill. Secures the round for AMG.
AMG definitely bringing the heat right now, as they have certainly bitten back at D3. These last couple of rounds have been really, really strong for them, and with good reason. It's always someone getting either a double or a triple kill, and last round, of course, it was the Capcan Sasaki in the bottom floor, not only dealing with a Deimos and a Blackbeard chasing him down, but he actually got the drop on both of them, turning around what was a 3v5 into a 3v3, and then it just completely fell apart for D3 from there. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be livid in the team comments right now. Like, how did we let that happen? How did we lose to a Capcan when we had Blackbeard and Deimos chasing him down? I have the same question, I'm going to be honest with you. But, all things considered, mistakes were made, right? That's really all you can say. Mistakes were made, and sometimes you get shot in the face with them. With that said, D3, you're losing momentum and ground fast. This map was picked by Deadeye Esports, folks. They brought us to bank, so they now have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they know what they're doing on this map. Rounds 1 and 2? Absolutely, I believe it. Rounds 3 onwards, not so much.
Let's see what they can do in the last, round of the attack half over here. Maybe they have something surprise for us in the defense. You're saying it's their map pick, but it's been a bit iffy. It's been pretty much like a wave in terms of seeing how the momentum is swaying on both sides over here. But right now, we are going to go on top. Deimos has the potential to go for either the Echo or the Rumi, depending on the target. Next, we'll be looking to actually get a kill, maybe hack camps, but that's okay. The Deimos did get a bit of value, but when he went for the fight, he just pretty much got shattered alongside the Blackbeard. So the Capcom did huge in those fights. Interfix even brought in the Flores. We'll be looking, but the Echo drones securely know where everyone is. This is a 2F site. If AMG comes out, they will come back pretty nicely from what was seeming like a bad start. Like a 0-2 start is not anywhere you want to be.
All right, so moment of calm. little bit of quietness between everything happening, and of course that gives both teams valuable time to think. Minute 45 on the clock, give or take, and we've already got a couple of repels happening, one by the big archers on main lobby, and of course the other by the front side. Not the front side, excuse me, by the window side of the site. Now, of course, both these positions are very open to getting shot by somebody on the prowl, as Moose, unfortunately, is taking a bit of damage as the Deimos has already entered Skylight. Of course, given the way that that part of the map shapes out, we'll talk about that later, as Next does find one mine to fall. That's the Echo. That's a really good kill, but Sasaki was right there to immediately trade it back. And of course, that's your Dokkaebi gone to the wing side. Dokkaebi is such a strong operator in this context, as not only had she taken over, would have taken over, excuse me, Echo's drones as secondary intel gathering tools, but also, oh dear me, they also want to be careful about this. Oh, there's a smoke down below, and it's Shaitan to get the kill onto Moose, who will, unfortunately, actually, now that I think about it, I think Moose did chase Shaitan out of Janitor down the hatch. So Shaitan now getting this double kill is proving why mobility, certainly, and awareness of where you are is certainly very pivotal, because he's just managed to take out Moose and Ninja Freak, which leaves Kratos and Rux in a 2v4. Once again, nearly unwinnable. Sid comes around, finds the Zofia, and it's all down to Kratos DR, who has to find 4 very angry defenders, who's got one, but Sasaki comes around and puts him down. AMG, they were 0-2 down to start off the first half, folks. They are now 4-2 up as we move into round 7 and the next bands for the night.
Very impressive comeback in terms of how you swung the momentum back for D3. Like you're saying, very nice and pleased with how they were doing. The way the improvement from round 1 to round 2, it looked like they were on an upward trajectory, but instantly get shut down. After that, they have no answers. There's a lot of individually good plays coming out, like how Shaitan is playing, how their Rumi is playing. There's a lot of good players. Sasaki is so deadly with the silence DMR. He is doing wonders with them. He's pretty much clean up crew, and Shaitan is pretty much going for those initial frags, and they did pretty well. So let's see with the switch up what they have in store for us with the attack. The ban is going to be the Kaid and the Hibana, the Ace and the Clash. We haven't had a Clash ban in quite some time. It seems that we might be in a pause or a timeout, depending how they want to actually talk about it. But the Clash ban coming in does kind of change things in the sense that now you have the bandit available, you can have things else. There's no shield operators getting banned out, so they're going to be happy about that.
No shield ups getting banned, of course, to start us off. Oh, dude, hello. Okay, I wasn't expecting us to come back to our view just a second, but it is what it is. As they, of course, I think we're taking a technical, not a technical timeout. It was just a tactical timeout, right? A pause to talk tactics, to talk, strengths and whatever they are going to do next. Now, I do like the Clash ban that kind of came out, even though I don't necessarily see the reason for it. Clash doesn't get played nearly enough, if you ask me, folks, especially these days, right? Because there's just a lot of clunkiness inherent to this version of the character as we go back into the matchup here. And of course, the other bans are, well, about as standard as they get. Hibana and Ace, again, breach focused, as you would expect. And finally, Kaid getting taken off the board early on this time. And I do understand why you don't want to have to deal with getting secondary EMPs and this and that and what have you. So just get rid of Kaid outright, get the hatches quickly. But guess what that has left open? Mira, as Moose will happily bring this Spanish defenders with the one-way mirrors into this equation.
One-way mirrors. Indeed, we didn't need to see much mirror gameplay. We did see D3 trying to attempt it a couple of times, but that's about it. They were shut down pretty easily. Earlier from side AMG back when they were on the defense. Now we do see the Deimos, the Grim will be coming. The Amaru is interesting. We usually don't get to see a lot of Amaru gameplay and we have the Blackbeard coming in. The team seems deadly if they act, but there's pretty much like 5 players playing split when you're trying to head into attack the way their comp has been built around, because you don't have any. You have the secondary hard breaches for Dragon for the side of the Sid, but let's see how well they can do. There's no EMPs around. We don't see any EMPs in action, so that does make sense. Kaid is spanned out how they want to play for a Tachanka. Talk to me a bit about this Tachanka over here, Black.
Oh dear. Tachanky Kang. All right, that's interesting. But I don't know. I mean, I've seen Tachanka get picked here before, but you've got Smoke and you've got Doyo. Some might say that that pick is better saved for a Maestro even, right? Or an Echo if you really want one. Tachanka is good for holding down intel, holding down like tight lines of sight, holding down like really tight corners, as Rux is going to be the one to find the first kill of the round. That said, the Amaru gone, but that is of course meaning that the roam is somewhat successful here. Drop is found and the Goya will be taken off the board here. Beautifully done by Sasaki. We'll get back to that Tachanka pick in just a second, but right now, there we go. Wamai is being chased. He's going to go down the mid stairs, and he's still getting chased all the way back to side, but not successful, as he will be caught on the retreat, and Sasaki will take Rux and finish him off, putting the defenders in a bit of a spot here. 3v4, as the Blackbeard is now down the mid stairs, ready to get anybody who might be a little bit too overeager, and that has certainly been a little bit of a case with DC's first round defense here. It's certainly a little overeager with the way Nex was playing under the hatch, and Rux, after that first kill, probably should have fled where possible. It is what it is, though, given the fact that they still have 3 bodies left, and 2 of them are anchor plays. And of course, you have your Smoke, who is known for situations like this. There we go. The first kill comes out. Moves, finds Shaitan. That's 1 down. The Ashes trying to blind the mirror window, will be unsuccessful in doing so because of the magnets. Beautifully placed and beautiful gadget synergy right there. Goyo canisters are getting popped left and right. Smoke grenades are out, and they know where things are at the moment. Moose's position is given away behind the mirror window from the Grim, but she's going to, is going to go for the peak anyway. Doesn't matter, doesn't get one. And here we go. Mirror window is finally blinded, which puts B3 in a really unfortunate spot. Their positions are being given away. Ooh. Ninja Freak finds one on the other side, though. Mayank is going to fall, and Ninja Freak is going to go for the flank here, potentially speaking, as we have holding down from Red Hallway, just really being as strong as he can, but he gets taken down. 15 seconds remaining. The flank is insane, and Ninja Freak finds Dragneel in just the right time. Sasaki has to get in. He does so, but at the cost of his own life.
Ninja Freak coming up huge in the later parts of the round. Gets 1 below, goes for the rotation upside, catches the guy shooting in the mirror from the hatch, gets that 1 more, and just kills it up with Sasaki early in the rounds with that Ash. The amount of aggression and pressure that he's been putting on. He gets 1, finds another on the way down, doesn't even let the Wamai leave in peace. He's like, no, that's fine for the taking as well. But at the end of the Ninja Freak, some very good individual plays towards the end, clutching out the round for the 3, getting them a very important round, closing the gap between the scores of both teams, and hopefully putting them backwards on the upward trajectory, because this is the first round they've won in like the entirety of 4 rounds.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since Deadeye Esports pulled off a round for themselves, and I'll tell you what, better late than never, right? As now we move on to the second floor, their second round of defense as well. And I'll certainly say this much, the Grim is probably going to get banned once we get to the pre-round 10 bans, right? I do not see Grim surviving to see the light of day. Although with Moose picking the Mira once again, it might be a Mira ban as well when it comes to the defensive side of things. We'll just have to wait and see. Attacker-wise, I've got an interesting couple of picks to kind of digest here. Of course, with the Ace being banned, you have the Thermite being brought into play, and on the other side, we have a Zero, who doesn't get played too much, right? Sam Fisher kind of has seen the back bench, give or take, when it comes to Rainbow Six Siege's pick rates. But whenever he gets picked, it is for good reason. These Zero cams effectively act as Valkyrie cameras, right? And the fact that he gets like however many of them is kind of insane to me. He really just gets to put down cams wherever he wants, and those are really good intel tools to have on hand. Secondary heartbeat charge to round things out, and a pretty good gun, all things considered, makes him a pretty good pick. Now, with all that said, of course, D3 certainly has a lot to show for here. They want to equalize this round. They want to get things going for themselves. As meanwhile, we saw Nex going all the way down to the basement. That, I believe, is someone to keep an eye on for AMG, because if they're not careful, that Jaeger on the roam, or even if Kratos DR, the Ella, who might be on the roam, could also prove to be a very big thorn on their side.
Yeah, it can definitely be. 1 minute 50 left to play with over here. A couple of pre-fires coming in from Moose. did not connect on the head that he was looking for. An upside down repel from Shaitan, also not yielding anything as of yet, but a lot of pressure being put on Sasaki. Gets the kill on the moves. In the meantime, Ninja Freak is onto Maya, next hits onto Dragon. So complete separate 3 fights happened, but at the end of the day, D3 coming out with another man. Ninja Freak gets another onto the kill of Shaitan. Double kill for him as he's looking for a third. Not finding anything yet. There's a guy in the corridor, but Sasaki gets picked up by Next, who is coming up the stairway. This is flank on flank action happening. They have to be careful. You have to put your head on a swivel just to see what kind of angles are coming at you. And AMG are not looking good. D3 looking to equalize the amount of rounds that are available in D3, showing why this is their pick. Coming alive in their defensive half. The upside down repel, Sids is just pretty much praying for anything. 1 minute left, might even get spotted out. That's exactly what's happened over here. Sids trying to fight some more, has to fight from even the side of the main lobby. The pistol not gonna get him. Sids barely surviving, looking for another way, another route to actually enter in over here, looking for a person maybe on Skylar, but he's not gonna honestly find anything at this point. He maybe will just waste time and let his team think about what they want to do in the subsequent rounds, because other than that, I don't think he can actually do anything. 2 low HP, 1 versus 4, pretty much just gonna save the KDA right now.
Yeah, probably just stay alive for as long as possible, right? And give the team time to really talk it out. What went wrong? What could be changed? As you can see, Ninja Freak going a little bit bonkers here, trying to get that final kill. Sid is just happy to, be alive. He's just being Sid, as they say. But there we go. He's going to be put out of his misery. The round will finally end, and Deadeye Esports will equalize here in round number 8, 4-4. In no one's favor as we move now into the 9th round. And I'll tell you what, when we started this matchup, when it was a 2-0 and it was pretty, it was standard clears that D3 were doing, that AMG were kind of falling prey to, I was thinking, okay, it might not actually be too close of a game. Now that it's 4-4, I can certainly say that I was wrong, and I am happy to be wrong about that. 4-4, scoreline in play, and first floor, not sure what happened there. First floor staff room is going to be the side of choice being picked up here. The Frost comes back once again. And, of course, you have the Fenrir being brought in because he hasn't been banned either. Lots of operators I'm seeing who usually get banned are no longer, are actually in play because of decisions made by AMG when they were banning the defenders, right? Kaid, I understand, of course, but then you have the Clash, who I will say, all things considered, is proving a little bit more wasteful than banning someone like, let's say, Fenrir or Maestro or Mira.
10 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, but even then, they're in a pretty tough. But they're bringing the fuse, honestly, this time. Might make a difference because now you can actually do it from above, with the one side being chosen for yourself. Shaitan bringing the Nomad to watch the 6 because they are getting flanked quite a bit of time. So they have to make sure of that. That's exactly why the Nomad is going to be coming out. Mayan's going to be piloting yet again that Blackbeard. Robert Sasaki going to be looking for this aggression with the ass. He's picked up the bandits. He's going to actually electrify the walls, and nobody on that side has actually doing anything to deal with this. Maybe the few charges will land with that, but other than that, I don't see what's happening. Kratos has picked up the Fenrir, so going to cause a nuisance. So even if you charge in and you charge in late, which is the tendency of AMG, it's not going to be good. Finally, going to make the approach from the skylight over here from the terrace side. Going to break open the bracket, but nothing else. You're going to actually check the cameras to see if any action's coming out. But Ninja Freak has honestly been a freak with this shotgun in the close range. He gets multiple frags. His positioning is excellent. He just hides around the corner, waits for you to walk into him. That's exactly what AMG has been doing a couple of times, and he's been taking complete advantage, waiting for them to pump. D3 are just letting AMG walk into them. They're holding specific angles built for that, giving up 2F control just to hold 1F as well as possible, I think so. But then now with the fuse being unleashed, it's gonna cause a bit of problem. I think the not roaming is going to be the downfall of D3 in this round.
Yeah, having no roam presence. Oh, what a shot right there from Mayang, though. Using that sliver. That was literally just a sliver on the floor. That was that gap, and it worked out for him because he found Ninja Freak. Big drop right there. Ninja Freak is not going to be happy about that at all. I'll tell you that much. But with that first drop happening, and a good one at that. AMG certainly have a chance. That chance being, of course, to continue having a lead, which they desperately want to do so. Fuse being in the play is certainly going to be a little bit of a... Oh, never mind. Dragneil gets taken off the board as Kratos peeks upwards, something you normally don't do when it comes to playing this game, because you can get shot more often than not. But as they say, fortune favors the brave. Mayank with the double now. Kratos goes down, and now we have ourselves a game indeed. We have the bandit coming back up. Moves could potentially be really helpful here. There we go. He's gotten one, and the Blackbeard once again finds himself in a little bit of a spot of bother, but he manages to get the shot off just in time. Moose falls. 40 seconds on the clock. The 2v3.
That could have just tilted how the round was looking. Moose was looking deadly, but Mayank is the better. Even put the Blackbeard back, he could have stopped, but he didn't get the kill. In the meantime, Nex actually trades on to Mayank later into the round, so it's a 2 versus 2. Nex trying to fight for his life. The pre-fires for days. Druxus gets it, but he gets instantly traded on Shaitan. But Nex from the long range knew exactly where the man is. He knew exactly where he needs to spray. Hits onto the head of Shaitan, gets the kill for himself, and now D3 are the ones going to be taking that round advantage in the first time in this competition.
All right. Deadeye Esports put themselves up on the board as having a lead right now, and they are certainly going to be very happy about that. I'll tell you what. As we have our final bans for map number 1, it's going to be Fuse and Mira to get taken off the board. The Mira, yes, I absolutely understand, because we've seen her be a very big nuisance. But at the same time, I'm not sure if I necessarily jive with the ban on Fuse. I understand that, this map has a lot of hatches and a lot of areas that Fuse can be an absolute nuisance from, but you played lockers in round number 7, and Fuse was absolutely not a concern. So might be a little bit of a waste of a ban slot, though even then, D3 hasn't looked too particularly bothered by the Blackbeard play so far. So it might just come down to preference, right? And at the end of the day, Fuse is annoying enough to where he does get banned every now and again. Now, with that all said, round 10, what are we expecting? I'll tell you what I am expecting. It's certainly a very close game, potentially even our first overtime for Qualifiers 2. Qualifiers 1 started off very strong, I'll tell you that much. Map 1 of Qualifier 1, that itself was an OT. And that was certainly one to stay awake for. But here and now, in round number 10 and map 1 of Qualifier 2, Semifinal 2, it's certainly getting closer and closer enough to say we could see that OT happen. What do you think, Madness? OT or not OT?
That is the question, is it not? I'm hoping the Amaru pick. I'm not quite sure about how you want to honestly do this, because you're not going to be getting that much avenue. But Sasaki's already looking to make his presence. So is the Blackbeard. Double entry over here from the side of the hallway. He's just going to be walking in, not taking any doubt whatsoever. Sasaki's the one who will be droning in. The Ash is on security for the Blackbeard to walk in. Blackbeard's going to be spotting out. Oh my, in the corner. Sid's going to be picking up the kill onto the trucks. Next trades on out. So it's still a 4v4. Next is trying to make him, the Blackbeard instead chooses to fall down. But as soon as he falls down, Shaitan is already there on the repel to get the kill. Of free pickings for him. They're just pushing them to their own teammates so they can get the frags that way. AMG coming back with renewed life, with new way of dealing with this, and D3 are trying to maybe overcompensate for not roaming last round.
Yeah, might be a little bit of a overcompensate there, because they've lost 2 operators for the price of 1. The Amaru is kind of a disposable pick anyway, because realistically, you're not going to get too much value out of that unless you manage to get the jump on the defenders, when they're on second floor, and it's really good for those niche plays that are like one and done. So again, AMG, I'm not sure if you really want to continue using up a slot for getting Amaru, but at the same time, it worked kind of, because they managed to find both the Wamai and the Goyo early enough to where their setups can now work. With that all said, I'm interested to know, Kratos kind of peeking down the vault, might be expecting a drop down that part of the map somewhere. Goyo canister has been popped on the door of CCTV, and there we go. Beautiful shot from Sasaki. He's gonna find Ninja Freak once again, getting taken off the board in a position that he really doesn't want to. As we have more shots fired, a wider angle, or I should say a longer angle being opened. Sasaki going off now, double kill, finds moves, and it's all up to the Tachanka inside of Vault Hallway. Positions given away, and all he can really do is run for it. He's got a lot of bullets in that mag. He's going to use one of them, or take one of them. One down, make that two down. Kratos really is doing a lot right now. 1v1 against a Grim, but he doesn't know where Dragneel was. The triple kill could have very nearly been a fourth and a clutch defuse as well. But unfortunate for D3, it was just a lack of knowledge towards the tail end of that round. It is a 5-5 equalizer, folks, and we have ourselves a game and a half.
Kratos almost turns that around. I think he thought the diffuse was going down on the other side, the plant's going down on the left side of the table. That's why instantly when he swings in, he's looking that way. But before that, the 3 kills that he picked up, very, very good. He was looking to maybe actually close it out. But AMG, at least this round, they secured. This was a lot of momentum being allowed to be built up for D3. There was 3 rounds in a row that they're gone for. If the momentum continued, this might have been AMG saying goodbye right here, right now. But they have equalized it for us. Now their attack seems to be working out. Now the push is coming in. They had a commanding lead towards the end, like a 4 versus 1. Kratos almost just pulled off a miracle, but otherwise, the sound strategy coming in for them. I like how they're pushing D3 around the map towards their own other teammates on the side of AMG, so they can get free pickings like that. And D3 have to be a bit aware if they're going to roam. Right now, 2F side, so maybe not much of those problems. I'm expecting with Ella's going to be there with the castles, but because of the castles coming, it's going to switch in from the Brava to the sledge to do it, and we're going to see Dragneel yet again playing that 0 actually.
Yeah, I do like the pick of the 0 once again from Dragneel this time around, just bringing in more intel, and I think AMG certainly needs a little bit of that, but at the same time, you need to stay alive and you need to put those cameras in really important positions for that to work. Ninja Freak, oh dear me, Shaitan just going off on the windows right now. Mandis to find moves. That's the Frost who was playing in the Stocks room right there, but there's a far back. Next, who's on the roam is going to find the rappel of Sid and take him off the board. Sledge gone. Of course, that means your grenades are no longer in play, along with that ever so useful sledgehammer. I don't know why I started on the sledgehammer. That's literally in his name. But with that said, 4 versus 4, equal body count as we have another Azami keeper being put in. Ninja Freak's keeping his position alive. Rux finds Sasaki. The Ash getting a little bit too antsy, firing bullets off on that open wall, but next gets taken down as a trade. Dragneel saving his teammate as well because the Jaeger was probably getting a little bit too close for comfort. But that is not going to get Ninja Freak out of that hallway position playing by Stocks. He's got a really strong place to be right now, and they got to get him out of there if they want to aggress on the site.
They honestly have to. It's 3 versus 3, 1 minute 30 left to actually deal with. Dragneel's trying to put cameras. They're getting neutralized by the Jaeger, already still in that stock room. He's dealing with a lot of problems. It looks like the angle being held, but you're not going to get mad. Azami still has more kunais to throw, 3 more to be exact. So she's going to create a lot of defense around the room, holding the position. A long range angle, not connecting the spray, going wide from Shaitan, trying to catch onto Instrux from that same angle had got one of his other kills in this exact same round. So he's looking for more. Mank's low on HP as well, but Instrux is now tugging in corner. He's not going to give his head up for free anymore. 1 minute left for AMG to start picking moving, to start building up their own momentum. You try. Whoever wins honestly goes to match point, right? So this is a very crucial round to end up winning. Gives you the mental boost as well. The canister being blown open, the smoke being created by a part of the map diversion itself. In the meantime, Ninja Freak gets the kill onto Dragneel. So that's 1 less attacker to deal with. Make that 2 less attackers to deal with. Mayank, the only one alive, the guy who's actually on the lowest amount of HP, the IQ, now finally drops from Skyline. Is dropping into a lot of danger. The sensor calls and the audio calls are there. Azami looking for the pick, not connecting as of yet. Mayank definitely won't be honest, he would do anything. He has to break barbed wires, he has to walk in, he's low on HP. It's almost impossible. He's just giving some, he's trying to bait that he can maybe pick up his own kill. It's Rux. Interesting angle. He's expecting maybe Mayank to go back this way, but I think Mayank's just gonna honestly take the fight away, which is exactly he's looking to do. Ninja Freak fighting away, nothing catches out over here. Behind the Azami is gonna be Ninja Freak. Ninja Freak finally peeks, puts Mayank out of his misery, allows D3 to be the first team to reach match point.
I'll tell you what, that little bit of disrespect there, inspecting the weapon right before going for the peek and getting the kill. Ninja Freak knows what he's doing. Absolutely. And with that said, D3, they know what they're doing. They are 6-5 up with a map point going to them to start off this encounter tonight, folks. And I'll tell you what, I hope you had yourselves, seated for a long game. I hope you've got your popcorn because we are now in the round of ones. One round for D3 to finish this off, take map 1, and go 1-0 up on the map count. And on the other hand, one round for AMG to potentially give themselves a chance to win by pushing to overtime. Which one is it going to be? Let's find out, because round 12 is now underway. With, of course, once again, the Tachanka being brought up by D3. You know what? I did have words to say about why this pick might not be the best early on, but clearly it's worked out for D3, right? And Kratos knows their way around that gun really, really well, evidenced by the fact that, nearly pulled off a 1v4 clutch just a couple of rounds ago. So I've got no reason to think that D3 shouldn't be bringing that to Chanka, because if it helps, if you've got a player who knows that operator really, really well, enough to make it work to that level in this level of Rainbow Six play, I certainly agree with the pick. On the other side, of course, Blackbeard becoming a mainstay of the matchup. I'll certainly say this much. Blackbeard gets banned very, very often, so seeing him sometimes can be refreshing, but at the same time annoying, which is a really weird feeling. I don't know if if other people watching this feel the same way. But if the Blackbeard gets banned more often in the future of this BO3, I certainly won't be complaining.
Yeah, I think majority of old school Siege will be like, no, we do not like shields, we do not like the essence of it. But at the end of the day, it's an option available. It's an option that they have chosen for, and Aman has been bringing out the Blackbeard quite a few times in these rounds. The trade goes off. It's going to be the Oryx actually being the bearer of bad news on the side that he's the one losing most of the HP. Sasaki is still on the prowl. Demo's going to catch an angle. You're going to have to see that we have to drop down over here so we don't take too much damage. And just like that, I think second floor being given up. You only have Instrux, but he's going to be found out. He's going to get knocked down. But in the meantime, next piece up the kill onto Dragoneel. Shaitan finally gets the kill onto Instrux over here at this point. It's a 1-4-1, 4 versus 4 right now. In the meantime, in the corner, the double peek coming into the Goyo in the knee. But Goyo gets actually next is the kill to Sasaki. He's trying to get the Blackbeard. Blackbeard has to be careful in the close range. Blindly spraying the smoke, not going to connect. He's running for backup, honestly, over here. Lex is proving honestly hard to deal with the pre-fire. Not going to connect to Shaitan. He was just holding that corner. Shaitan actually gets the kill onto Ninja Freak instead. Mayank's going to be walking. He's going to be pushing Goyo. But Goyo's heading back up to the 2F side. That allows them to... There's only maximum 2 in the basement. They're maybe going to let the Goyo be there. But no, instead, Deimos has been active phase. Goyo's target is known. They know exactly where this man is. And then the Blackbeard's going to hunt the Blackbeard. D-shields. De-equips it. The gun is enough. Gets the kill. In the meantime, Sid gets the kill onto Moose. It's a 3 versus 1. Kratos in a world of trouble. We have seen this man pull off a 1 versus 3 and a 1 versus 4. Honestly, getting 3 of them. Maybe the 1v3 now would be doable for him. He's got the exact same gun, albeit a bit of a different positioning. People are not going to honestly push into him. They're going to be recalling what happened the last time they tried to run into Kratos on the Tachanka, and they're going to be, no, let's play it a bit on the safe side. Let's head into this overtime as well as we want. But the flames are going to come in from Tachanka. He's going to deny a lot of it. The breach hasn't even been popped yet. Maybe blew it a bit extra over there, but he still has 17 of them to go for. 1 versus 3. We're going to be slowing down. 30 seconds left. Going for a rotation. The way it's looking, we're holding from above. We want to drop down into hatch, into side directly, it seems like. They want to be able to deal with this with Kratos earlier on, but the Goyo gets popped in the window. You're buying a lot of time, but the plant is still going down. You still know exactly where Kratos is. In a 1 versus 3, where your position is known, this is not doable. And exactly not. The guy who tracked you is the guy who puts you down. And that's going to be us going into overtime over here at Blackjack.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to rumble? Overtime is in play. And oh boy, it feels so good to be able to say that with my full chest. Of course, for those who know, Round 13 is in play, folks. It is 6-6 equalizer overtime between both of these teams. And AMG pulled the rabbit out of the hat right at the perfect time. Second floor executive lounge and CEO office is going to be the site of a choice after a very well played locker attack round from the side of AMG. They are still on the attack going into this overtime, and they certainly need to prove themselves because second floor office has not been a very good site for them to attack. They have tried it the last 2 times in the previous round that we had, right? Round 8 and round 11, and it did not work out for them. Will this be the difference maker? Will third time be the charm? Well, we're about to find out.
They're definitely hoping so. And again, I'm no doubt Mike's going to be piling the Blackbeard. It
10
seems to
seconds
be
remaining.
his bread and butter according to going. But Dragon is going to be switching in from the Grim to the Lion. We haven't
5
seen
seconds to
a
go.
Lion charge throughout this entire map, number 1. So let's see if that could be the change that they do require. And Sid will have to let the Flores for Shaitan as well. But in defense, not much of a change. We have the Castle with the Jaeger, the Zabi, the Frost, and the Ella, right? The Ella guy is going to delay as well. This army to just create cover wherever you need to be. It's a lot about these battles against the people who are rappelling and the people who they are shooting at. Honestly, that's deciding a lot of this early round aggression. It's about who actually gets that first pick. You can already see next is just waiting in lobby to catch his prey, and at the same time, in the meantime, Sasaki is quite aware of it. Is always aware when he's picking in for this. Oh, an upside down repel by Dragdeal. Doesn't spot anything as of yet. Dragon's been broken up over there. And you see, hatch is not finally been broken in case an escape is required from the side of the castle, right inside of its rocks. You see finally the Flores coming into life over here. Gonna be breaking up a bit of the floor work along with some gadgets close by. But other than that, a very slow approach from AMG, a very methodical approach from him.
Very methodical indeed. You just got to take your time and see where the weaknesses are. Probe for them. Push people out of those important positions, and then maybe you can make the inroads happen. That's going to be the first kill as well, going to Sid, as next will fall one of the front gunners as well. Oh dear me, the Blackbears come in, but no, he gets taken out as Moose finds Dragneel on the other side. 2 big drops back to back. I think Mayank got a little bit too over-eager and impatient at that, trying to force the Azami away from stocks. Unfortunately, all you ended up doing was giving away your life because nobody had the time to rush in and support you. And because of these Kiba barriers, you can't really, kind of force the Azami out of her position. You need grenades. You need somebody down below. Moose finds Sid on the other side. Shaitan jumps in. Oh no, the Frost Smash. And it's all down to Sasaki, the last one standing. The last hope for AMG to maybe have a round lead here, but it will not be, as Ninja Freak shuts it down with the D50. And folks, I'll tell you what, the start of that round was good from AMG. They were slow, methodical, precise, but then they lost the plot because they got way too impatient.
They did indeed. It started with Mayank just rushing in as the Blackbeard, Azami taking down in close range, and then Ninja Freak just freaked out in the round. At the end, just Deagle in hand, ready to take the kill, even gets the kill. He just shut down the entrance over there, put everybody to sleep pretty much single-handedly in that round. So coming up huge for this round, putting D3 in overtime match point for themselves, map point. They're going to be happy about it. And Mayank is going to be switching to the Echo in defense to prevent something. We saw him trying to go for these kind of strategies early, but every single time the Echo doesn't come into use later on because he ends up kind of dying at an earlier spec. So he has to be wary about that heading into this. Could be their ultimate round if they're not careful about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's second floor office once again, right? This site has certainly proved to be very, very, very heavy on the, on the kill front. A lot of operators die when pushing this particular site. For instance, we had on basement lockers a flawless round way early in the game, and even most rounds on lockers are usually like you win by having 3, 4, or 2 operators alive. The only one where it got really close was the round where, guess what? Kratos with the Tashanka nearly pulled off the 1v4. I know we've mentioned that, near clutch multiple times over, but folks, it was such an exciting thing to happen that you kind of have to keep talking about it because it's going to be a highlight of this second qualifier, second semifinal. With all that taken care of course, we're moving now properly into round number 14 with overtime match point going to D3 because the way the last round ended up. Dokkaebi being brought into play once again. I do expect that fully because Dokkaebi was never banned, and that just means free intel if you're able to take control of the operator's gadgets, or I should say cameras, in time. One phone and one kill. That's all Dokkaebi needs, and that will not be what she'll be getting. Dragneel puts her down. Good grief, as next will be the first casualty.
First casualty indeed, and Dragneel does not care about line charge whatsoever, just ran into the corner without a care in the world, and that's a very good pickup into Dokkaebi and Aphrodite that can be very, very annoying later on if she hacks your cell phone, gets the camera access, as well as, you know, all those rings that come in. But Ninja Freak is playing a more subsided role, playing the support of the Monty, bring up the shield very slowly but cautiously up the staircase, and the Echo Drone's gonna find him out. You heard the Echo charge as well. AMG with the man advantage. AMG need to keep this if they want to keep hopes up of trying to win map number 1. The outside repel is there, so a lot of angles that they have to be wary if you're the defenders. One small slip up could mean your head just being cleanly taken off your shoulders, depending on how it goes. Most creating a bit of distraction on the windows, looking for maybe a pick, not connecting, just the pre-fire. Shekan is just right next to him. If he is aware, most can maybe try and go for pre-fire. The C4 comes out of the window, it will not connect, does not even do much damage to most. Make that absolutely nothing. A bit too late, it got stuck on the windowsill, and by that time Mose became wary of the situation, backed away, didn't get caught out. 1 minute left to see what AMG can actually come up with here.
All right, 1 minute, actually 45 seconds remaining on the clock, and D3's attack has certainly had its issues, but Kratos finds one, Dragneel to fall, Mayank falls as well on the other side. Rux coming in with the behind the Monty, I should say, and that unfortunately leaves AMG in a really bad spot. They've lost 2 bodies, make that 3. Rux finds the flanker, and Shaitan gets taken off the board, and meanwhile Sasaki goes down in the hallway because somebody was repelling, and that moves to take the kill. Happily so, Castle gets 1, but he's the only one alive. Sid is going to be found by Kratos hanging out in an elevator, and folks, that is going to do it for map number 1. Maximum overtime is denied as Deadeye Esports finally pulled themselves out of the weird rut that they had found themselves in earlier on and will get the overtime round victory, going to round 14 and getting themselves the 8-6.
Proving why this was their map pick. Yeah, like you said, very shaky start to the events, but then came back pretty nicely in their own defensive half. They showed pretty much good movement, good at everything, moves, causing a lot of distraction. Kratos almost pulling that 1v4, that was just crazy stuff. And then Ninja Freak coming alive, doing a lot of trouble. But with that being said, we're going to be joined yet again by our special guest over here, or our other casters we like to know. It's going to be Bullet joining us over on this side. Bullet, what did you think about map number 1 over here?
Definitely, for the very first half, it was the side of AndroMeda to actually understand and adapt to all of the playing scenarios coming in from the side of Deadeye. But you have to give credit to the fact that guys like Ninja, Freak, and a lot of the players, when it comes down from the side of Deadeye, are some of the veterans of the scene. Not saying for a fact that veterans in the game on playing the rank and the usual games, they are some of the veterans when it comes down on how the entire Siege Esports Esports has started way back in the day in our own region. So it comes down to that play that they understand every other move coming on from some of the fresh faces, or you want to say some of the seasoned players on the other end. They do understand how, if you want to play some of a very similar strat when it comes down to a map like Bank, which is like very untouched, especially for the first floor objective and the second floor objective. Not sure about the basement. I guess there was some reworks in the basement, especially with the hatch changes that was being done, I guess, back in year 9. But the first floor objective and the second floor objective has remained very untouched from the devs itself. So they know what goes around and how they have to counter every other play coming in from the side of AndroMeda. Gotta give to the side of AndroMeda on how they were able to actually clutch on, get some round victories back in round number 7 and round number 8 before they went out to push down towards extend the overall match point situation from the hands of the side of Deadeye. But again, being the case that we saw a little bit similar on yesterday's games as well, now you do have Night Haven Labs getting the second map pick from the side of AndroMeda, who has picked them. I mean, Night Haven Labs as your second map when you have already lost down to 8-6. Not really sure how the entire thing can actually look like. But of course, I can say for a fact that it's going to be really, really exciting to see again our own region-based teams taking a very new and kind of like a fresh approach to some of the modern maps coming to CJX.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Especially with Night Heaven Labs being one of the new modernized maps, right? In the last update that we had for Year 10 Season 3. So it's going to be pretty exciting, I would say, to see how they play around some of the oddities that Night Haven Labs does have, right? Because there are parts of Night Haven that feel kind of drawn or derivative from other maps. Take, for instance, Clubhouse's Garage sharing so many similarities with Night Haven's Warehouse, that so much so that I sometimes in my head I just call it Garage myself. So with that said, folks, let's have a look at the match summary, the statistics that we also love. If you love match, shout out in the chat. But with that said, let's have a look at what is the numbers, and it's gonna actually be pretty close between both teams. Although I will say, by far the most effective on entry and the one who died the most on entry is also Nex, going 5-3 on that first kill ratio. Overall cost of 73% and 14-10. Pretty much standout performance by that player, and I gotta say, credit where credit is due. But of course, Kratos DR with 12 and 9, getting almost 3 in that near clutch, and just overall being a very good player in the back ends of the rounds. 10 to Rux as well, who's pretty much kind of like the pillar of the team, holding them down, keeping them honest, and of course Moose playing pretty much on the back foot support roles for the most part. But even then, Moose was effective in a lot of those defense rounds. He saw his name pop up on the kill feed at least once per round. Ninja Freak 12 and 9. Well, it's Ninja Freak. If he wasn't 12 and 9, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, completely agree with that. And look at Shaitan, man. The man has 17 kills. He was doing monstrous rounds as well, especially with the Bandit going for the roams. He got a lot of kills. And with the help of Sasaki, quite sometimes they were the ones left in, the 2vx kind of scenarios. They were pulling it off quite a bit. Sasaki tried to do a lot with the Ash later on, but unfortunately couldn't pull off the kind of success that I wanted from him, given the way he played in the defensive half. But still, a very good showing for them. They're going to be disappointed with the results, but I don't think they're going to be that disappointed, given that they put it in a very good fight and they know this was just their map, right? So on their own map, I'm expecting AMG is going to take us all the way to that map number 3.
Definitely. I also have the feeling that this might get extended to map number 3, but also comes down to the fact that, again, Night Haven Labs, I'm not really sure how some of these boys will play alongside a map like this. Not kind of like doubting their entire skill set, but definitely some of the global tier teams also face a lot of difficulty, especially attacking on a map like Night Haven Labs. So I'm just a little bit skeptical on how things will unfold for both the teams, not just for one side. Again, AndroMeda, it's their own map pick when it comes to the side of Night Haven Labs. So I'm definitely expecting a little bit more kind of like the flashy and more controllable plays against the side of a team like Deadeye. But we have to just wait for a while, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with that, being said, guys,
with that said,
folks, small break. We'll take a
small
break before we come back into the action. This is 3-man casting and its finest, guys, and we will see you right after a very short break.
bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house.
All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the South Asia Elite Community Series here at Frag Nation, and of course in partnership with Ubisoft for Rainbow Six Siege X. I'm your host and analyst, Blackjack, joined by, of course, our casters, Madness and Bullet, for map number 2 of Semifinal 2 of Qualifiers 2. lots of twos once again. But of course, it's going to be a fantastic time on Nighthaven Labs, and I'm certainly excited to get this going. What about you two? Are you ready for what could potentially be another really close game?
Yeah.
I mean, for now,
absolutely
we can
ready
talk
for
about. Here we go again.
Yeah, Bullet, you take over. Bullet, you take over.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm absolutely sorry. There's some very small, very small remix latency. I thought for a second that Blackjack did kill me. But yeah, keeping the jokes aside, folks, talking about for the first map itself, just to like recap all the folks joining in here at the second game. Yes, we did saw, I would say, kind of like a not so close game as well, but not so very like a one side domination as well from the both the teams. They both showed some really good, I would say, attacking play when it comes down to on the first map of Bank. But talking about the side of Deadeye Esports, like I said, some of the players, like as a Ninja Freak, I'm not too sure if he is the ideal right now when it comes down for this particular game, but I'm pretty sure that he's definitely going to be the guy who's calling the shots and for that, hey, if we want to approach in from the server room, we are going to approach from the server. If we want to take the control of the ATM lobby, talking in the perspective of the Bank map, of course, we're going to take control of the ATM lobby, then push towards the side of Spiral first. Because some of these players, like Ninja Freak, have been playing the competitive Siege in our region for almost half a decade now. So of course, when it comes down to having that experience, having that the usual play style combined with some of the fresh minds coming on to both sides, you definitely make a very deadly combination with all some sort of like kind of like the map orientation, the new map instruments getting changed with the introduction of Siege X. Now talking about the side of AndroMeda, still I would say I have not really seen their names in the previous Community Cup as well, but correct me if I'm wrong. But talking about on how they were actually able to pull this off by after pushing from what I guess the scoreline was towards the very first half till the first few rounds where they did had the chance to put this to match point for the side of Deadeye to just end this map on that particular round. And after that, they pushed on to the next 3 rounds for their side. So it was, I would say, a job pretty well done from both sides. But in the end, it comes down to the same point again. Ninja Freak and all of the other guys from Deadeye Esports are just way too experienced for competitive Siege in our region. So they are definitely going to make them run for their money when it comes down for the side of AndroMeda. Madness.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. The experience is definitely going to be showing you the kind of attacks they're going for. And they didn't even let the setback earlier on even, deter them whatsoever, right? They came back pretty nicely, even in overtime. It didn't seem like any hiccups in their plans. The way they wanted to execute, they executed. They defended very successfully the 2F side. There's Zami just going crazy, honestly, in that. And I just think this is going to be a very good map number 2 between both these teams over here, Blackjack.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It is going to be a fantastic second map, and I'm certainly really excited to get into it. I hope that you both are too. And of course, we'll be getting into that in just a short moment. So with that said, Madness, thank you for joining us. And turns out, folks, we bamboozled all of you in chat because Madness is the one analyzing, and he's going to be getting out here and now, as it's going to be myself and Bullet to take you into map number 2 very, very shortly, as it is, of course, Nighthaven Labs. Let's have a look at the map video once again, just to refresh everyone's memory of what it is that we are expecting here tonight, folks. The map bans that happened so long ago, it feels like, and yet not very long ago at all. D3 winning out, or Deadeye Esports, I should say, winning out 8-6 on the map of Bank to start us off. And then, of course, we will be going into Nighthaven Labs, which was picked by AndroMeda Gaming, AMG, and we'll have to see how they perform on this second map.
Yeah, talking about for the map picks coming in from both sides. I mean, we did saw, if I just want to talk about the bans coming into the play, we did saw them banning up the side of Lair and Border. Now, Border seems to be a quite unusual one because a lot of teams in our region love to play maps like Border and Oregon. Of course, Oregon not being in the map pool at the moment, but of course, we'll be going up for the Nighthaven Lab, which is going to be a pick coming up from the side of AMG, of course, which is the side of AndroMeda Gaming. But can I say again, for the fact that how they were able to actually put up a good challenge up against some of the players like Ninja Freak, some of the players coming in from the side of Deadeye, it shows that our region still holds a lot of good and upcoming talents when it comes on from the perspective of the professional players getting introduced to this game. Of course, not for a fact that everybody from the side of the esports have way too much experience. Again, I have seen, definitely, I remember Rex playing up in the previous seasons and the competitive siege here in South Asia. I do remember the name of Kratos _DR as well, and of course, who doesn't know Ninja Freak in our own region. But for now, folks, the bans will be done. We do see the bans of Mira Thermite coming in the first attacker getting first defense and attackers getting banned up. Of course, we have the Clash getting taken care of, and we all know how Ninja Freak loves to play Clash. We have heard stories, we have seen those clips, and we all know for a fact that there is going to be a target. And Mira makes sense as Night Haven on the map of Night Haven, especially the second floor objective and the basement floor objective. Mira is kind of like a very self-dependent operator that you kind of like the self-dependent mandatory operator when it comes down towards the basement and the second floor objective. Coming on towards the operator picks from the attacking room, which is going to be the side of AMG. We do see Blackbeard. We did saw even in the map number 1 as well. I guess that was both sides, Blackjack, correct me if I'm wrong. They were actually relying really way too much on the Blackbeard pick for the both sides. I did saw, I guess, Deadeye, one of the players from Deadeye, also playing in for the Blackbeard in the round number, I guess, 10. And it was the same for the side of AMG as well in a couple of those rounds.
Actually, yeah, Blackbeard we saw, I would say, a lot more than just a couple of rounds. We saw Blackbeard nearly every round, especially in the second half of map number 2, because he's just one of those operators, right? Once you kind of understand what the flow is for your enemy team, for the defensive team, you get the Blackbeard, and there's a very good chance you will disrupt them 9 ways to Sunday until they start playing around that Blackbeard specifically, which then opens up the chance of getting more team comps going your way. Thatcher, of course, is going to come in with the Thermite. That is going to be your, not Thermite, the Ace, going the standard breach on the IT wall. Pretty much what you would expect to be open here. No electrification from the side of the defenders here. Deadeye opting to forgo the Kaid, in place having a Warden in in the equation, which Reloading. I'm not going to say is a bad idea. Warden has certainly proved time and time again just how meta having those smart glasses can be. I'm just kidding. Nobody really plays them for the smart glasses. But you know what they are going to be playing for? That garage, say I did it again, that warehouse control, because they need that warehouse ramp cleaned up. Jagneel's going to get down on the other side. Unfortunate right there, as Rux will clean him up. And that's your Flores off the board. That's the first kill of the round.
Yeah. For now, we do see the first pick coming. Ooh, good pick from Sasaki, actually, the second one. Makes sense even in this situation. He's trying his best to get out of this situation and pushing down through those barricades. And now we have Mayank trying to take control of the electrical. Good, I would say, the time being utilized folks over here. We do have the first pick already getting interchanged from both sides. We still have the attackers trying to take control of the catwalk over there. But again, defensive, the entire defensive operators, everybody is trying to just make sure. Because if you give away, in this situation, if you give away the control of the IT room and the catwalk coming in from the lower garage area, it is more of like giving the entire control of the bomb side, if you want to take a look from that perspective. But for now, we do see these coming in from the warehouse, IT and electrical. As you do see, everybody just getting stacked up. Ooh, might be a little bit of that very risky maneuver getting clear from the side of Moose with that shotgun. Oh, he swings by, it goes down. And that was a very risky high risk, high reward stakes, and he gets the chance to actually put down the second with that SFG. And there we go. Ninja Freak on the other gets the double, probably getting the third as going to be the battle against the shield. And there you have it. Kratos confirms the last one, and that is going to be Deadeye winning up the very first round on the second map of Night Haven. Good again. Good overall time management being done from the side of AMG to push through, take the control of the electrical and the IT room over there. But again, in terms of the gunfight and how they were not able to actually get the information that Mute was just standing right there, very close to the door, trying to just cheek you by with those swing plays. That was something which AMG didn't, anticipated.
Yeah, it's just making those plays is what's really important, and D3 has made those plays time and time and time again. AMG just are not in a position to lose any more rounds here. Well, I say that. It's only been one round. They can turn this around, as evidenced by how map number 1 went. This map, however, is a lot more important for them than map number 1, because now that the tone and the pace of the game has been set, and we are settling into what could be a long night, fellas. Again, I hope you certainly got your dinner ready very soon, because there's a good chance either this map goes
10
to
seconds to
overtime
go.
or we go go all the way to map number 3.
5
And that's
seconds
not
left
even to
before
say that
insertion.
map 3 couldn't go overtime as well. There's always the chance that this is going to be the longest game of the season. We'll just have to wait and see. But with all that said, of course, round number 2 now officially underway. The excuse me right there. The Goyo being brought into play now from Kratos, of course. The Ninja Freak bringing in Fenrir. Those FNet mines, I'll tell you what, they are such a nuisance to have to deal with. So might be a Fenrir ban coming in the future, depending on how effective he is in this particular round. Hibana comes in, your usual hash breach going on, but no! I'm not sure what happened there, if Sasaki was feeling a little bit too frisky, or if, got jump scared by Sid. He's going to get taken off the board with a team kill, and the Wamai Ninja Freak is now potentially up on the chopping block if he's not careful. His rotate has been spotted, and they're going to be trying to take him down. They are really aggressing upon him inside the storage room right now. Shots fired, Dragneel taking a ton of damage as Ninja Freak continues to be a nuisance sitting inside the storage room. He's finally taken off the board as Mayank will equalize 4-4, but there's an Azami here that I don't know if he knows about.
Stay back!
Yeah. For now, it's going to be the side of AMG's. We do see Azami still roaming on towards the second floor in a server, just trying to deviate the entire attention of the attacking play. And Rux is actually able to. We still don't see anybody from the attacking team to actually figure out where exactly Azami's whereabouts are. But on the other hand, Sasaki trying to make his control towards the CC stairs, just probably waiting for some more information. Somebody actually going in for the drone work. There's going to be on the other hand Mayank trying to take some gather some intel towards the cargo stairs and maybe trying to drop down through those hatch as well. On the other hand, we do have the vertical play happening in from Hibana's Dagni's Hibana. But at the moment, for it looks like it will be the calm before the storm. Everybody just gathering those information from the defensive side as probably they have. But this has been dropped. Oh, that is out. That has been dropped outside of the objective area. Anyways, Dragon gets a pick on Ninja Freak, and that's a big one. That was a vertical play getting in played from the side of Hibana. So that was a good one coming in, folks. Of course. And it will be a little bit of that man advantage giving away towards the side of AMG in the last 35 seconds.
30 seconds and less as Mayank is going to go down to next on the other side. Big drops happening, and the band is going to get traded in immediately. It's a 2v3 type situation, but Kratos coming around from the top, from the first floor. Okay, someone's gone for a flank. Wait, Rux has gone up too. This could be huge right now as Sasaki's taken care of what the plan has happened, which means 40 seconds and less remain, and they have to get to that diffuser as soon as humanly possible. Boy, Candacer is popped, and Shaitan's going to make an easy escape as a result. Oh dear me, Dragneel should have had the shot, some would say, but he's going to get taken down. It's now all to Shaitan, who's about to get peeked. Shots fired, his position is given away, and you have this Kiva barrier now potentially giving a little bit of room for the defenders to go for the defuse. There we go. He needs to get into it, but there's enough of a gap to deny it. He's going to get shot as well. 9 seconds and less. He needs to get on it. This is going to be really tight as it takes 7 seconds to defuse, and he's only got only a few seconds. He might get it by just a few seconds. Yes, he does. It got close, I'll tell you, folks. But at the end, it was the clutch and the win of the round for D3 Deadeye Esports. They will be counting their stars right now as they have pulled out, once again, the rabbit from the hat, making it 2-0 to start us off.
Now, to be frankly speaking, this is one of the major, I would say the difference between the side of Deadeye and AMG in the first map as well, to be frankly speaking, Blackjack. Few of the players from the side of Deadeye are holding one of the highest clutch potential in the entire region, to be frankly speaking. Whereas again, the side of the last round, he was taken out momentarily way before the clutch happened, and before the entire kind of like the site execution happened from the side of AMG. But when it comes down to the very possibles of doing a 1v2 or a 1v3. Now comparing it to map number 1 as well, and now comparing to the counting it to the last round as well towards the second round, we have seen those kind of situations also happening in
10
against the
seconds
side
left
of
before
AMG,
insertion.
where they did had a chance to make it to a
5 seconds
possible
left.
2v4, making it to a victory up against a 2v3, but they didn't, but they were not able to. And this is where I guess Deadeye Esports kind of like have the slight bit of advantage that most of the players do have some of the highest clutch rate potential in our region. But hey, that is all for the stats, folks, and that is all that we can always debate about in the upcoming rounds as well. But as of now, it is going to be again the basement side getting selected from the side of Deadeye, and we do have almost the same operator lineup coming up from the side of AMG. Apart that, this time around we do see Sid getting up on that sledgehammer.
Clearing the way.
That sledgehammer is going to be very important to get that verticality going, but that Azami playing with danger right now, moves as he peeks past his Kiba barrier time and time again. He's being aggressed upon from multiple sides right now. The head is seen but not popped because they just can't get the angle, and Moose might get away with his life, as on the other side the breach is done on this waiting room wall. Rox, unaware of what's happening, gets droned out and taken off the board by Mayank. Beautiful shot right there from the Ash for that kill. Excuse me, right there, as we have ourselves now a 4v5. But D3 have pulled themselves out of worse, as evidenced by the last round. But they've just lost two huge bodies. Double kill right now, not double kill, Sasaki with the first kill of themselves in this round. Moose finding a little bit too much trouble, so to speak. Here we have the Ram going ham on the floor, giving them so much line of sight to work with. And next, already half and less is going to be really hard to deal with. But Ninja Freak, wait a minute. He's right by waiting room. Next goes down on the other side as Dragneel takes that kill, happily so. But, oh no, that rotated spot is the plan has happened. Are happening as Ninja Freak gets one. He's on the top floor now. This could be huge if he manages to get his positioning in order. One's outside the window, one's deep in kitchen, and of course the last one playing by the diffuser near the door. He's going to hear the Claymore going down. Can't do much about it. So all he has to do, Ninja Freak, is just get these bodies, get these shots. There's somebody up here, and that is going to be a beautiful shot. Down, Shaitan off the board. He sees the Claymore last second. Oh my god, did you see the adjustment happening? Live on air, folks. He's jumping down, coming around the hallway, trying to find something, but no, Sasaki's on point. Gets the final shot off, and that, folks, is going to be the first round finally going the way of AndroMeda Gaming. They put themselves up by one round. As we said before, better late than never.
Yeah, definitely a good start for the side of AndroMeda over here, but gotta give them again. I mean, on how the sheer over aggression was definitely in play from the side of D3. They were like picking on those angles like anything. I guess they just got a little bit overconfident, just a very little bit overconfident in the last round, and this is where you actually need to capitalize on some of the mistakes coming from your opponent team, and that's a very job well done from the side of AMG. You capitalize on those moments, you just make sure the momentum doesn't completely get shifted away to your opponent, and you make sure that your entire team's coordination, momentum, everything from your side stays on point. And that's a really good start. I mean, when we talk about the side of the map, it was more of like a 1-1 score line, then to a 2-1, then of course it becomes a 2-2. This is more of like okay, we did saw the first two rounds going to the favor of D3. Yes, those were some of the rounds which was kind of like the first round was kind of like the methodical play happening from side of AMG, but in the end it was that mute play that happened. In the second round, it was more of like AMG was just trying to just make sure that they are somewhere right there in terms of taking those gunfight victories up ahead. But it was again a clutch coming in from the side of the dog. In the round number 3, what exactly happened was we did saw the side of Deadeye Esports just getting a little bit, just a little bit over aggressive, and AMG punished them thoroughly, to be frankly speaking. But again, folks, this is like the very first half, and up to round number 4, this kind of like experimentation, or I would say in our region, to be frankly speaking, it is kind of like the usual play. Up to round number 4, round number 5, you will often see that there's going to be one team dominating, and if that's going to be one of the teams which is very much experienced, you might see a 2-0 scoreline. But over here, I'm really happy to and really glad to see AMG adapting to what's some of the certain strats coming up from the side of B3 pretty early, as it is in the round number 4. No.
All right. You caught me drinking water there. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
Took me a
it's fine.
second
You go
to
ahead. You go ahead.
come back.
But
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I already did. Yeah, I already did. I'm good. Don't worry about it. But a rare moment of quiet here as well in this round. Normally by now a gunfight would have happened or somebody would have gotten aggressive. You know what? I shouldn't open my mouth. Next gets Sasaki to start us off. And we did see Moose taking a little bit of damage, but again, there wasn't too much of that happening until what? Huh? Jugneil with potentially the lineup on the warehouse stairs right here gets two massive drops as Ninja Freak and Kratos are taking out the board. Moves with a beautiful pick, gets the trade. Better late than never because you needed to equalize the body count and make sure that AMG didn't get any more bodies from that very powerful position. Ace and Thatcher have, of course, gotten the breach done on IT wall, but realistically, that's not gonna get you much because you're only staring into warehouse and the side door of command center, and there we go. Next is gonna find Chetan off of that IT breach anyway. And guess what? You only gotta find out one more, which is of course Said, who's sitting here, waiting, eager to get a kill. Next goes down, and there we go. That's Thatcher in play. He actually moved up to the other side of the building through waiting room or connector as it's called, and beautiful headshot onto Booz. Now then, it's 1v2. But Rux has played these positions before. He's a warden, but never mind. Mayank finds him at the right time. He rotated into garage, again I say that, warehouse, and gets caught out because he peeked the door. Got a little bit too antsy right there. And I think that's the same is true for all of D3. They got a little bit too antsy, like you said, but a little too impatient, little too over-eager, especially. Although I will say that lineup collateral, whatever happened on warehouse stairs with Jugneil getting that double, I don't necessarily think we can blame anyone for that other than just being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Or maybe for the guy who took them out being at the right place at the right time. Like just being a little bit lucky for sure, but definitely on point with the overall in-game mind presence. But for now, folks, the score line is going to look like 2-2, and this is kind of like falling the same way. I got to take my words back from the previous round. I did say for a fact that, yes, AMG is definitely that one team who is actually able to adapt to certain scenarios, but for now, as how D3 are just getting a little bit of that shocker up ahead in the round number 4 previously, and we did saw how the scores were unfolding in round number 1. It's great to see AMG understanding their potential really well at the moment. For now, we do see Ninja Freak going on to Chanka, Kratos with Fenrir, movement yet again on the mute jammers, Rus with on Borden, and of course the Wamai Magnus system coming in play from the side of Nex. But for the side of attackers, yes, we do have the Flores with the explosive drones coming into the play, and actually you need some of these explosive drones way a lot to actually build up a pressure on towards somebody who's trying to hold up the catwalk, or maybe just trying to get the control of the electrical room, just making sure nobody is a bandit tricking or kite tricking, mute tricking, what you want to call it. So yeah, that is going to be that usual thing. But for now, it's going to be trying to get from the roof, trying to just make his way towards the IT room over here. It's going to be an easy one. Again, very first in the very first 10 seconds, 20 seconds of the round, we do see the wall hard breaches getting open. No efforts coming in from the side of D3. The what? Okay, Mayank takes care of Kratos. Gonna be Rux with the shotgun right on the face of Mayank. That was a little bit of that early pick, and there you have the explosive drones. Flores getting to his job of making sure all of the secondary hard utilities like those black shield drones are taken care of.
I love the use of the Flores here from Jugneil, and I love these shots coming out from Sasaki. Always a good time with this player on the R4C. In the Ash, of course, movement is a top priority for Sasaki, as has been proven time and time again. However, what is priority for D3 is not losing any more bodies, as we have the Tachanka going off with the Shumika launcher, launching those grenades everywhere, left, right, and center. But he thinks maybe you should try and save a couple of those as well. He's got 10 left, which is quite a lot. Flashbang's out, that's going to be caught by the Womar Magnet, but the flames on Warehouse Ramp is going to force that Flores back, and good too. But of course, he's still in Warehouse, just dropped down to the first floor, which means he's going to get tough pretty quickly. On the other side, of course, you have the Wamai pushing out. He's going to get droned out as well, which means he can't push into connector the way he probably wanted to. And there you go. Next gets taken off the board as we now once again have a 2v4 situation. Like that 2v3, Ninja Freak coming around with the long line of sight. He's got himself a good position to play in here. So long as he doesn't get aggressed upon, he will be able to delay these attackers as much as possible. Jugneil trying to push a warehouse stairs, gets taken away for his trouble, and it's all now down to Ninja Freak in the 1v2 situation as we have the fire coming in, but Tasaki swinging around the pillar manages to get that final kill just in time as we have ourselves the first lead in this particular map for AMG, 3-2.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first time where AMG is able to take a lead up against Deadeye, or I guess this
In
was
this
the
map,
case
yeah.
in the first map. Yeah, in this map, not the entire series. Apologies, that was my a little bit of that slight mistake. So this will be in this map. It is going to be the very first time where AMG is able to take up the lead. We did saw them actually taking a 2-round lead in the first map of that. So a job being very well, being done on the right side of AMG, but up till now, I guess DQ is also just getting up that entire momentum right up in the face that yes, we are committing a little bit of those mistakes of giving away the control or some of the exterior site control way too early, but also for the fact that on how they're able to how the side of AMG are able to utilize their secondary utilities, the primary utilities being carried away from their operators. For example, we did saw the Flores explosive drones doing his job way too perfectly of taking out all of those hard secondary utilities, just like we did saw in the last one as well. One of the guys were holding with the shotgun. I guess there was no smoke. He was taken care of immediately. So yes, you use those secondary utilities to destroy all of the secondary hard utilities coming in from the defense. Then you use your primary and the main gadgets to actually build up a pressure, and then you just make sure that you are able to win those gunfights. That slow methodical season are now actually working for the side of AMG, but also for the fact that some of the players who are actually responsible and actually were the guys to take the majority number of frags from the side of Deadeye Esports, they are not able to actually win those gunfights from the last 2 rounds. Moose, it's great to see Denari getting picked up from his side. Would love to see how creative he's going to get up with those strip mines on how we can actually slow down the entire push coming up from the side of the attackers.
I will say though, Deadeye picking command center 3 times in a row, despite the fact that they've lost here, is not exactly the best sign in terms of what their overall thought process could be when it comes to this particular map. I do like shots like that though, as next manages to find Shaitan to start us off. The ace getting taken off the board. One of the front gunners, or well, one of the best guns in the game, not the front gunner, because Shaitan hasn't really been doing that much running and gunning as, well, okay, I was going to take his name next. Sasaki gets taken off the board, moves with a happy little kill right there, with the Denari firing off. So that's 2 attackers down. It looks like D3 have finally found what they need to do, which is to be aggressive, but not too aggressive. You gotta ride that fine line, so to speak. Gamepy goes out there to disable the trip connector for just a second, allowing the Thatcher to jump in if he so wishes. But you gotta be careful. As soon as that thing goes back online, you're gonna get hurt pretty badly. Jugneil goes down to the other side. Kratos with a beautiful kill of his own. That allows for Warehouse to just be held down completely. Sid, inside of IT, trying to get something going. He's got a peek, maybe a drone. Mayan coming from below Warehouse. This could be huge right now, but he's going to be seen and shot at, which is going to force this Nomad back. No, he's still going to go for it. Oh, nice. He's going to get taken down for his trouble. And there's Ninja Freak pushing hard along with the Shumika of the Tachanka, getting himself that final kill and putting up a flawless round to equalize 3-3 going into the second half.
And this is what I was talking about. I mean, for the side of Deadeye, for the last couple of rounds, yes, they were not actually able to win those gunfights. Not exactly the case that I would say AndroMeda is not able to do so, but for the side of Deadeye Esports, they make it look so effortless, to be frankly speaking. But for now, as this is going to be the second half in play, the bans is going to get reset, and we have the new set of bans coming in play. And for those of you who don't know, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody joining in for this broadcast knows for a fact that this is the new iteration of the ban, which has been introduced with Siege X. And I love this one. I mean, you get some of the very, I would say, those usual methodical Siege play that you see that, okay, at the beginning of the map, they're both of the sides are going to ban particular set of operators, and that will be completely banned for the entirety of the map, whether it's the overtime, whether it's anything. But now, with the introduction of Siege X a few months in, I guess in this year, I guess it was in June 6th. Correct me if I'm wrong, Blackjack. June 6th, I guess it was. Yeah, June 6th, because it saw EJX getting released. It was the new set of bans coming into play as well. In the first half, you do see both sides getting up to ban 2 attackers and 2 defenders, and the same will get resetted after round 6 goes underway, and it will be the new set of bans being in play from both sides. For now, again, it will be the same usual bans when it comes down for the side of Mira. Yes, Mira can be a very, very hard thing to deal with, but also Fender is going to be the ban coming in from the side of Deadeye. For the other side, when it comes down to the defensive team, they have taken the decision to ban up the side of Ace. Ban up the side of, sorry, Thermite for the place of Ace, but from what we saw in the first half. And then you, of course, have the Blitz ban coming in play. I'm not really sure that if you're going to allow the side of Ninja Freak to play on Monty, because I remember him clutching up with Monty back in the day. And of course, we have seen him playing in Blitz as well. But again, it comes down to the decision of the players from the side of AMG.
I think they're going to risk allowing Ninja Freak to go on the Montaigne, just in the sense of like Ninja Freak. We've seen a couple of Montaigne plays, yes, in the last map number 1, but I think AMG is thinking like it's probably worth the risk here, just so that we don't have to deal with someone like Blitz, right? Because the Thermite ban is about as standard as it gets. You want to get rid of a breacher, and Thermite's just one of those that happens to get banned more often than not. Some might say Ace because he does have a lot more ease of breaching than Thermite does, especially if you're going for something like bandit tricking, but you know, that's semantics at that point. The Blackbeard in play though, now that is something that AMG will certainly not be happy about, as Rux has brought out the Navy SEAL with the shield, about as annoying as can be, as we have smoke grenades being thrown out already towards the hallway outside of Connector. Interesting use of the smoke grenades as they are gone at the minute 50 mark, and barely anything has happened to necessarily necessitate those pieces of utility, other than the fact that, you know, maybe the Blackbeard was pushing on that part of the map. Maybe AMG is panicking a little bit. Here we go, C4's out. That might catch him. No, it doesn't. It does a lot of damage, though. You had 2 people holding down that part of the map, and that is what caused Rux's demise. I think he got a little tunnel vision right there, escaping the C4 and trying to find the mute, but they'll be happy to have taken him off the board and give D3 a 4v5 situation to deal with.
Yeah. For now, we do have the first pick coming up on the way from the side of AMG, which is definitely going to favor him, because at this point of time, we have seen that I actually struggle, even if like one of the key players getting taken out. Sasaki did some good number of frags, but again, this will be dragging to try to swing through the door, where he will be taken care of, because Nex was more than ready with the crossfire over there. Now attackers do have the control of the entire connector and electrical. They will definitely try to make a man mount pressure towards bomb B side, but they have to actually make sure that they are taking care of those evil eye cameras. Shaitan just playing behind the command center server over there. Just going to the server console. It can be a very huge deal with the LMG. Oh, okay. Maybe a caster curse. He gets taken immediately. I was just trying to appreciate the entire play, but that's going to be that. Deadeye Esports even falling down with a one-man shot towards the very early round. They are able to found every alter play up against the side of AMG. And that was the very first attacking round, going to the favor of Deadeye in the second half.
All right, then. What a collapse into the side, right towards the necessitated end of the round there from D3. All things considered, well played from them, and AMG, well, there was only so much they could do. They got the Blackbeard early on, but then that was the only one they got for the majority of the round, because the rest of D3, or Deadeye Esports, played it about as safe as they needed to, which is something I will always say is a very good skill to have. The more you recognize that, you know, the round isn't going to go your way and you can't really force it, the more the better it will be in the long run, because that will mean that you're not, you know, pushing the envelope on something that you don't have the room to do so for. And this time, Deadeye Esports showing that, yeah, all right, Blackbeard's down. Let's not try and focus on the place he was trying to push. Let's go elsewhere, play this to our strengths, and they did exactly that. Now we're going all the way down to Basement Tank for the next round, of course. as you do and as you should do. Even if you lose a round and it's only been one round on a site, don't risk it, folks. Go to the different site, try to switch it up, try to throw your opponents off, because, you know, and I'm definitely not saying that because I'm tired of seeing second floor command 4 times in a row. Totally not that, right? But with that said, I like the inclusion of the Bravo here from Ninja Free. There's a lot of hackable utility from the defense here. You've got your bandit batteries, you've got your cap can traps, and you've got the beepers, the the motion detectors, and of course the deployable camera from the Legion. So a lot of things that Ninja Free can take over slowly but surely and deny for these defenders one by one. It can also work, of course, as anti-breach, as in, taking care of bandit batteries. So all things considered a good pick to have, especially in the absence of a Thatcher. Shots fired towards the necks on the other side. Looks like somebody's on the first floor that they need to find and find quickly, as this one defender could be a big issue for them. But Mayank's on the second floor, and the question is, do they know? There's a couple of them on the second floor, actually. They need to find them. Sasaki might be the first on the shopping block, or one of the attackers could be. It's a minute 30, and they need to get these kills quickly because the setup is going to be all important. Blackbeard's here, but Sasaki actually finds one. Sid manages to find the other. Oh, dear me. Little bit of a lapse in communication right there, because they didn't have people in time to take care of that castle. And guess what? I think the fuser's been dropped on second floor.
Yeah, they have to first make sure they get the control of the diffuser though. But AMG are just gonna make the lives of the entire attacker hard to make sure that they get their round. We can equalize the entire round score. But at the moment, the lines can become up. Yes, they don't have any kind of intel because nobody moved their muscle when the ND scan was going over. Sasaki gets the pick on Kratos though, making it to a 2v4. Russ gets the pick on Mayank, and now it's going to be some of the Legions are getting in place of Blackbeard. Ninja Freaks gets a chance to take out Sasaki, and he will able to do so. 40 seconds left on the clock, 40 seconds left on the timer, and yes, Lux does have the chance to actually go in for the plant, and he has a diffuser. So we have to make sure that he gets the kind of like the chemistry going and the coordination going in with the side of Ninja Freak. They do interchange the control of the diffuser, so yes, we will be side of Blackbeard trying to make this round the way up against the defenders, get the first pick. Probably, oh, that was a good damage. What was that speed? And now we do have not a lot of time left for the side of the attackers, so I'm guessing that this will be a victory coming for the side of AMG and this defense. Blackbeard, yes, we can try your mighty bit to just take down a few of those defenders. Let's get someone. He gets a double. What? That guy was down?
All right, then.
Okay. Did I miss something? Oh, yes, I clearly did. I didn't thought the bandit was down.
I'm sorry, the way you went, did I miss something with so much energy? Then, oh wait, I did. That just took me out. Yeah, he got the bandit. He actually finished him off and then moved on to the smoke in the site. Like, I'm pretty sure we all saw that. Unless, of course, had a moment right there, because I certainly would have if I were in that position, because it was really exciting, right? What happened right there, the way Rux was able to spray transfer essentially while ADSing, and there's somebody right staring you down right in front of you. You are in a pressure cooker of a situation right there. And Rux managed to play it off pretty well, or really well, all things considered, because Deadeye Esports are 5-3 up. They are 2 rounds in the lead, 1 round away from series point even, and they're certainly going to be looking for that, because if they manage to win this round on Basement Tank, that's a 6-3, and AMG suddenly have the pressure of all worlds on them, because again, you are playing for a better seeding, the grand finals position, and potentially a map 3 to win this round, win this matchup, right? AMG needs to win this to push map 3, not even to get to, not even just to finish it off here, As the magic trick's going to happen, is going to get one of those ace charges in the meanwhile. So, of course, Shaitan's going to have to be careful about where he decides to peak, what he decides to do from now on. But as I said, AMG has a lot of pressure on them. As the round now continues, we did have a roamer, I believe, or a couple of them. And that's something that Deadeye will have to be so very careful of. Shots fired. Next is actually going to go down and get taken down as he tried to enter to warehouse. But again, second floor roam pulling off once again for Sasaki. Oh, dear me.
Oh!
As Mayank just gets executed in front of us. Oh.
Rux dodged. He crossed at the same time when Kratos started. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure that was not a coincidence. Trust me, on how we saw Rux putting off that effort in the last round as well. That was not a coincidence. That was sheer coordination and play from the side of the Esports, and this is what I actually wanted to watch the last game as well. But this is again the same play. The coordination is so on point from the side of Deadeye. The highlight reel. Anyways, Chris will be reviewing up those heartbeat charges to make sure that he get all the possible vertical lines of sight again opened up to mount up the pressure on the heads of the defenders over here. I guess two of the toxic babes are still left out from the side of Smoke, so possibly he will be waiting down for some of those attackers to get down on towards the basement over here to pop up those toxic babes in the corner to counter it out. Kratos gets on the scare of Sasaki, making up to 4v2. Maybe Shaitan can pull up the pre-fire. Kratos gets a triple. Boy, with the DMR, he's gonna pop. He's just popping off kills like crazy. Ninja Free gets the last try. Everybody just dropped on towards the exterior room over there, and that is going to be the 6-3 series pointer coming into the favor of Deadeye Esports. I mean, AMG, yes, I do see them having the great potential to win some of those very nasty gunfights from what we saw in the previous round. But Deadeye Esports, the coordination is so on point. Altogether, the chemistry looks so great to me, Blackjack, between these lads.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Coordination in D3 has been amazing to look at and commentate over so far, as the final bans for this second map have been taken care of. It's Blackbeard and Azami off the board now. And folks, there's only so much remaining, potentially speaking, if AMG don't pick themselves up and give themselves this round. And then the next and the next. 3 potential rounds of overtime remain. Not overtime, actually, match point remain for D3 if they, suddenly lose the plot and start losing rounds back to back to back. But in the case of that not happening, D3 are looking at a pretty comfortable Nighthaven Labs. AMG, whatever strategies, whatever strategies you had going into this map, now is the time to pull them off. Otherwise, you're going to be facing a lot of trouble indeed.
Yeah. I mean, every time around, we have seen the push and the dependency getting made on
5 seconds left.
onto the side of the Blackbeard's dependability. So it's great to see them actually panning out the side of Blackbeard, because we did saw in the round number 8 and how Rex was able to push on towards Snapneck hallway. Then he took care of the smoke. He did actually pre-fired on smoke, and then Dragneel went just a little bit too deep in the side. And then again, the side of Blackbeard had the chance to pick the side of Bandit. Then again, the smoke coming to the same toss head. The spray transfer was so smooth. Gotta give it to some of the players from the side of D3. They have actually the firepower seems way too uncapped, to be frankly speaking. So there you go, folks. There's a series point coming up from the side of Deadeye Esports from where it looks and how it looks from the operator picks. They just want to shut this down as soon as possible. Grim, Kratos with the Lion Scan, of course Ninja Freak with the Brava. Those drones can actually tire of the Echo drones, the Yokai drones being in play, and of course the Black Eye cams as well. So a great, I would say, operator lineup coming up from the side of Deadeye. But for the side of AMG, yes, I definitely want to see some flanks being in play. I definitely want to see some roamers proactively try to deal with the attackers as soon as possible.
Certainly a lurker or two around maybe that hallway facing the what I like to call aquarium stairs, because they literally look like aquarium stairs, but they're called CC stairs in the game anyway. But yeah, towards CC stairs, maybe a lurker with a shield, as we did see D3 play that position a couple of times, right, in their defense rounds. Maybe somebody lurking around the conference room or even just waiting room. just to give themselves, or connector I should say, just to give themselves a little bit of more room to work with. Moose is going to find a long shot onto Sid on the other side. The Bandit getting a little bit too antsy, methinks. And so that's going to be one down. The Grim has pushed up really far. Oh, Shaitan, I'm not sure why you would peek out of the shield like that. Maya's going to get put down on the floor as well. That's a knife to finish it off. Next finds Sasaki, and it's all down to Dragneel. The last one standing. He finds one and gets found. Moves with the final kill of the map, the match, and the game as a whole. That is going to be it, folks. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, that was a good one coming up from the side of the entire team from the side of Deadeye Esports. Gotta give to the side of Rux. I mean, on how some of these plays were happening in with the Blackbeard.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
whoever it was, whether it was a side of Ninja Freak, whether it was alongside with the side of Nex, or even for Kratos for some of these rounds in round number 7 and round number 2, we did saw the dependability on Blackbeard and dependability on to just like use Rux as a shield and just make sure they are able to get those picks really, really well.
Absolutely. They played that amazingly. You know who didn't play that amazingly, though? Me. I muted myself and then forgot to unmute towards the tail end of that round. So that's what happened, folks. I do apologize for that. That is entirely on me. No, that is entirely on me. I could hear you the whole time, and I was like, wait, why is he? No, never mind. Anyway, with all that said, production hiccups, which is again on me, taken off the equation here. Madness, he's back, of course, to analyze the game with us as you do. And before I pass it on to you, I will say though, AndroMeda Gaming showed a lot of signs of life in Bank. They definitely fought really hard, but they seem to almost deflate towards the second half of Nighthaven Labs, which is curious considering the fact that they were the ones who picked this map. But the moment we get to the second half, they lose 4 rounds in a row, and well, you can kind of see the wear and tear, the toll of a match like this falling on their heads.
That's what you assume, right? When the momentum builds up in esports like this, like it's very hard to deter it. If you have that going forward, you have the mentality of winning round after round after round, it's hard to put a stop to. But like you said, this was AMG's map pick, right? The way they played Bank, you'd assume that was their map pick compared to Nighthaven Labs, because they put up quite a good fight in that. They took us to overtime. They tried their best there. Unfortunately, didn't work out. But map number 2, though, that just seemed like a one-way street for the winning side. Like AMG could not put up much of a fight against Deadeye Esports. That Blackbeard caused so much ruckus until that ban came in the third. They couldn't even deal with it. They couldn't. So I would say maybe the Blackbeard of the Blitz, because it seemed like they were having a hard time dealing with the Blackbeard. Blitz, even then, also you can catch it from the backside. Depends on how you want to play it around, but unfortunately for them, the Blackbeard caused a lot of problems. And this is something that we've been accustomed to saying, because that operator is really busted if you play it right.
Sure it is. Sure he is. I mean, every shield operator right now, it is, they are pretty much busted. And yes, we have seen a little bit of that nerfs coming in the previous season with the release of the Nari. Yes, shield got a little bit of that interchange that if you are actually last time around, if you are actually able to just push out your shield, you can look at whatever towards the 90-degree and towards the 180-degree angles. But that is not exactly now the case. You have to just make sure that you are actually ADSing in the same direction. But also comes down to the fact that I would give it away to the side of Deadeye's coordination, to be frankly speaking, especially in the last game. Not in the map number 1 exactly, to be specific. It was an 8-6 score line in the end, so gotta give it away a few of the kiddos, a few of the, I would say, good dubs to the side of AMG as well. But the map number 2, the coordination and the overall chemistry happening between some of these folks was just way out of point. I mean, in that one of the rounds where they were actually taking care of the Legion, or probably it was the side of Fenrir, I guess in round number 7 or round number 4, we did saw Rux actually dodging or actually crouching at the same time when just behind where I guess it was the side of Lion from the side of Kratos. Yeah, Kratos was playing on the Lion in that particular round. He actually fired the bullet at the same time, and Blackbeard dodged that bullet at the same time, and he went through the Legion on the catwalk. I was like, what in the real world? Was it a call, or was it a coincidence on how the entire thing has unfolded? As a caster on this, I have to give it away to their coordination. But for now, folks, the stats on your screen, the summary of the last map, 73. Look at the cost percentage coming up. Rux at 73%. On the other hand, the highest percent of the cost percentage is going to be from the side of Sasaki, who went to 9 to 8. 9 eliminations on board, and of course 8 that's coming in from his side. Madness.
Yeah, and then Ninja Freak, just look at him, 13-4. He just went like killing mode over here. Only died 4 times, got 13 right of it. None of them open fights, but the mid gaming coming in from, that's what you're talking about, the experience from a guy like you, who personally have said has been in the industry for like playing for like half a decade, 5 years. That experience comes out, you get your positioning right. It's always not going to be a 50-50 fight that you're taking. You're probably getting fights that are always going to be more in your favor. Then Instructs on that Blackbeard just did wonders as well. And get cost percentage 87% from Ninja Freak, doing a fun job. But and the side of Sasaki, right, 3:1 in terms of first kills. He's always trying to go for the fight, especially when he's playing an operator like an Ash or something. He's trying to go and get that advantage for some. Sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. And unfortunately for today, at least map number 2, AMG did not look like what they look like on back.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, right? Their performance on Bank was such a standout performance, especially compared to how they conducted themselves on the map of Night Haven. Of course, given how things go in this post show, folks, we will probably get a chance to talk to one of the members of AMG, so we'll get to kind of pick their brains about this a little bit later on, which I'm certainly looking forward to. But looking at just overall the numbers in general, I will still say though, Sasaki and Mayank being pretty much the leaders in terms of entry frags, and Nex from the side of D3 being the only one from that side having 2 kills on entry, means that there's certainly something there. There's a spark in that AMG team that I think needs to be explored, right? They've got really good entry gunners, and they've got people who played the pillar support role pretty well, all things considered. I think it's just a case of maybe this is like a relatively new team. Maybe they haven't had too much time to play competitive, and we're seeing them now in this competition for the first time. They have made it to playoffs, so it's not like they're completely unfounded or without skill, because they've certainly gotten enough skill to get into the playoffs. Now, what I would like to see from them, based on what we saw today, is that little bit more nurture, that little bit more planning. Because I'll tell you what, sure, tonight's performance might not have convinced a lot of people about them, but they have, at least if you were to ask me, they have the chance potentially to become a dark horse or an underdog, right? That really gives the teams a run for their money as a new rising competitor.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
and then
it's great to
we will see
some
that
of
they
the- Yeah, for now, folks, let's take a look at the overall stats coming up from the last 2 games that we have seen. And we wanted to, again, on how the first map went till up to 8-6, everybody on the desk was expecting that, yes, AndroMeda might be able to push this to the decider map. But look at now, look at some of these numbers. Ninja Freak at 25, Next with 23 eliminations, Strux with 18, Kratos DR with 18, Moose with 14. Now look at the other side. The maximum number of the elimination has been from the side of Shaitan himself with 20 coming up from his board. And look at his overall cost percentage as well. It's also great to see, again, coming back to the point where Madness and you guys pointed out, it's great to see some of the new faces, some of the fresh faces coming in our region to play this game in the competitive format, actually are able to put itself in not exactly a similar way, but actually give it a good competition to some of the really, really old and veteran faces like as Ninja Freak, Russ, and Kratos. But for now, folks, as you can see, it was a 2-0 overall. Again, I just want to know from you, Madness and Blackjack. Over to you first, Madness. Do you think like a team like AndroMeda can actually up till as we proceed on to playoffs very shortly? I guess it is starting from the 6th or 7th. Do you think maybe we might see AndroMeda in some kind of like a different scenario up against a team like Deadeye?
I think, they have their room for improvement. I think they can also work on a Shaitan and Sasaki are kind of already on the ready kind of zone, the way that Shaitan and Sasaki are playing together, honestly. And Mayan comes in with the Blackbeard, but he's playing on the attack side, depending on how he wants. He did switch it up a couple of times in map number 2, but even then, I think they have the potential to win. And it's not the end of Qualifier 2 for them, because unfortunately for them, they have to still be playing against the 3rd, 4th match against Esports, who fell yesterday down to RUE 0-2. So they're going to have another chance to play a bit before the playoffs even begin, which will be happening on 6. So they have some time to take a step back, take a breather, and think about what the performance they can do, their VOD reviews, see what mistakes they did, and catch up and see what their opponents are going to do and try and adjust accordingly. Because I think maybe even change your map preference, because you look so much stronger on Bank compared to Night Haven that maybe something behind the scenes
Yeah.
in terms of your precedence in your draft order has to definitely change around coming into the playoffs from there.
Definitely agree to that point with the map draft. Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a case of figuring out what exactly they need to do better. And of course, we saw a good glimpse of that kind of in the match we had just now, right? They have moments where it's like they understand what they need to do, but maybe they don't, maybe they lack the necessary awareness or situational kind of conditions to make that happen. It tends to, plan out that way sometimes where it's like, we know what we need to do. We know that this is the problem, but we're not quite able to act on it because we need a little bit more time to plan this out, a little bit more time to understand where we went wrong. And they have that time now, right? They have the time to practice. Yeah. They've got tomorrow, they've got the day after, they've got every day until the 6th and onwards to practice and prepare for what could be the biggest tournament run of their lives. So with that said, folks, let's have a look at the updated brackets now for this second qualifiers, excuse me. Words getting mixed up in my brain for just a second. But yes, indeed, AndroMeda Gaming, they are 0-2 down. Deadeye Esports are going to move ahead all the way to the grand finals tomorrow against Team Rue. And I'll tell you what, sure, the two semifinals might have been, 2 O's in terms of map counts, but tomorrow's match is certainly going to be a close and probably a long one indeed. So, folks, I will leave. Well, we're not leaving just here. We've got a couple more things to talk about, but I will leave this bracket screen with this. You all better be ready tomorrow for a long one indeed.
Yeah, because tomorrow is going to be a best of a 5 grand final, which is going to be, of course, a long one. I mean, don't get me wrong, folks. These best of 3s are also very interesting, and sometimes around when you have a lot of the South Asia seas thingies happening in, it can take a lot of time as well. But again, tomorrow is going to be a best of 5, so it's going to be a very, very long day. But for now, folks, we have to say goodbye to Madness. Thank you so much, Madness, for joining us to your desk, and we'll leave you for now. And of course, we will be, again, all three of us will be joining together for the best of 5 final tomorrow as well. So thank you so much for joining in at the Desk Madness. We'll see you, catch you later. But now, coming back to the point of discussion, Mr. Blackjack, who is going to be a little bit of with the madness in play. What do you think about tomorrow's best of 5 up against, 2 of the actual, I would say right now, the best of the teams happening in the second qualifier? Do you think we might see a kind of like a different turn? Because we have seen enough 3-0 in our region. We have seen enough of the decider map getting in play. So do you think for a second that the entire mid-stage period can happen? We might see a 3-1 overall map score, or maybe a overall, a 3-1 overall map score, yeah.
Well, if my memory serves me correctly, the previous qualifiers map score, actually no, it was a 3-0. Hasib Warriors took that in dominating fashion. So yeah, I certainly think that a 3-1 or even a 3-2 is possible tomorrow. I mean, I will always advocate for the long games because it's always so fun to cast them. Sure, my throat absolutely despises me for the rest of the week after that. But, it's fun to cast them in the moment. You're seeing this action, this development of adaptation of strategies, so on and so forth. And it always makes it so very fun to go through with, to watch, and of course, to talk about. But you know what else is fun to talk about? The interview segment that we do at the end of any of these matches in these qualifiers. So we have Shaitan from the side of the team here from AMG and AndroMeda Gaming. Shaitan, how are you doing tonight?
Fine.
You went in 20 frags from your team. What do you have to say about that, firstly?
I guess हमारी टीम को थोड़ा करना पड़ेगा. We knew what they were doing in bank, but still थोड़ा mess up हो गया वहाँ पे. Coordination थोड़ा कम था end में, but we'll work on it. And coming to my frags, I think वो मेजरली वही था कि आई वाज होल्डिंग जो उनके फ्रैगर्स वगैरह जो भी थे, जो रोमर्स थे, वी हैड टू हंट देम, तो वहाँ पे निकालना तो था ही हमें.
एंड मैं एक्चुअली जानना चाहता हूँ, व्हाट डू यू थिंक ऑफ Actually, sorry, Black. Let me just get this one. What do you think about you guys picking up a modern map like a Night Haven Labs? Because again, coming to the same point, we have seen some of the global teams actually still struggling to the fact till this date because Night Haven Labs is out for almost a year now. What was the thought of your entire team per se when you're going in for the map draft that you are going to be the team to pick up a Night Haven Lab up against some of the maps like Skyscraper and Border per se, for example, because that was banned, even though because हमने
See,
ऐसे मैप्स को देखा है
some
कि
of
हमारे रीजन में जो प्लेयर्स होते
हाँ,
हैं वो
I
बेटर
get
खेलते
that, I
हैं.
get that, I get that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
So we prepped Night Heaven. लेकिन हमने scrims वगैरह भी की थी, and on top of that, previously we have played Night Heaven majorly. If you see, even the qualifier or the cup before that, we played Night Heaven. थोड़ा मतलब बहुत easily निकल गया था, but this time I don't know, like shields थोड़ा problem कर देती है.
Yeah, that it tends to happen. Sometimes the maps that were kind of your best pick, sometimes it doesn't work out, and that totally is understandable. But even if you did lose this particular matchup, you are still in the playoffs. You are still looking at the long game, I would hope. So, kind of walk us through what your and the team's thought process is going into the playoffs because it is starting very, very soon.
या सिक्स्थ को स्टार्ट होगा तो वी जस्ट ट्राइंग टू कोऑर्डिनेट मोर एंड फिर हम रीड करने का सोच रहे हैं कि व्हाट द अदर ओपोनेंट्स आर डूइंग एंड वी हैव टू हमें शील्ड के अगेंस्ट खेलना थोड़ा सा करना पड़ेगा बिकॉज वी आर वेरी न्यू टू प्ले अगेंस्ट शील्ड्स सो बस एक थॉट प्रोसेस यही चल रहा है अभी तो एंड ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट विल आई थिंक विल बैन नाइट हेवन नेक्स्ट टाइम.
And what do you think about Shield though? Do you think like of course the devs needs to a little bit like the nerf and the rework still needs to happen? Do you think that it's all about the players who are able to utilize Shield so well?
I guess it's more about people who are utilizing the shields more. Like हमारा strat shield based था ही नहीं तो वहाँ पे एक थोड़ा problem आ जाता है. Like when you are defending against them. Even if you
Right,
see
yeah,
rank, maybe
before-
if we were playing shield तो वहाँ पे भी we had the upper hand. वहाँ पे clear करने को बहुत जल्दी निकल जाता है
Yes.
and we get the room. तो एक चीज़ है.
Yeah, shields can certainly be pretty annoying to deal with. I can personally testify that. That's why I'm still stuck in gold. But of course,
Gold though.
before we kind of move on from that, I would like to ask, given that you guys are a team that we haven't seen before, necessarily speaking, what would you say to other players who might have been in your position before, where they are also looking to get into competitive esports and maybe hesitating, thinking they might not be good enough, or maybe they're struggling to find a team? What would be your words to them, kind of as a community and someone who's gotten this far? So in this talk competition, words are hard.
I guess it's more about अगर आप खेल रहे हैं अच्छा खेल रहे हैं लेकिन if you know कि you're doing your strats very well in rank and हमारा तो था कि most of us were previously we used to play comp बीच में 1-2 साल का gap था तो we thought okay there's a new cup coming up so we'll sign up for it. We just created this team two weeks back, so 2-3 weeks back. That's what it was all about. So yeah, just sign up for it, play it. It's very fun to play. So yeah.
Yeah. For the last question, again, I have two questions before we say goodbye. Again, what do you think about the current, state of siege in our region? What do you think what we can do to improve more? And also coming to this tournament, what do you think about the overall, state of tournament and what kind of like, feedbacks if you have for the South Asia Elite Community Series?
From last 4-5 साल से हमारी दो टीम्स ही जा रही थी जैसे कि if I see Aussie Warriors or the Monkey Hunters or the Union Gaming, these people.
Yeah.
So even right now अभी भी वही same scene चल रहा है. Like we need new teams जहाँ पे they are like more aggressive and जो अभी के टाइम पे जो हमारी सीज के ओपोनेंट्स को थोड़ा टक्कर दे सके. I guess we need more teams right now in this scene. बिकॉज वही नॉर्मल 8 to 10 टीम्स जो खेलते हैं वही खेल रही हैं बस उसके अलावा और कोई नई टीम आ नहीं रही है तो there's a cluster.
Yeah, again,
Absolutely.
thank you
I think
so much, Shaitan.
All right, we'll iron this out. Don't worry, folks. But I will say though, it's always nice to see more players take on the mantle of being on the tip of the esports playing seats at this level. And to you and the rest of Andromeda Gaming, Shetan, we do hope to see you more and even better performances from all of you in the playoffs. We'll be letting you go here tonight. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shadam.
All right.
So yeah, that was that.
That was that indeed. Shaitan from Andromeda Gaming, folks. And that, of course, I do believe is going to wrap everything else up here at the South Asia Elite Community Series for Frag Nation and Ubisoft for Rainbow Six Siege X. But before we go, of course, y'all know what time it is. Tomorrow is the grand finals. It's a best of 5 between Team Rue and Deadeye Esports. Bullet, what do you think? You asked me this question. I'm going to toss it back to you now because might as well get the predictions out of the way here, right? Since we're already talking about them. What do you think tomorrow? Yeah. How hype is it going to be?
I'm definitely predicting this will go all the way to the decider map. This will result in a 3-2-2. Trust me when I say this one. Because from what I'm able to remember, for the most of the matches that we have played on Saturday and Sunday for the BO5s, take a look at the Wikipedia, take a look at the history of South Asia Sea. They have resulted in a maximum number of the maps going into map number 4 or going up all the way to decider. It has been very rare chance that it has kind of ended in a 3-0 fashion. Now, of course, we did saw the first qualifier going in a 3-0 fashion where Sea Warriors were able to pick that victory. But for now, folks, that was that. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in for this South Asia Elite Community Series at Race broadcast. This was me, Johnny Rosa with Blackjack, and we also had Madness up on the desk. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time exactly, but that will be starting off from 4:30 p.m. IST. So make sure that you are subscribed to Frag Nation's YouTube channel. Also, make sure to follow Frag Nation's Instagram for all of the further updates. Till then, goodbye and happy siege.
You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house.